Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Giant Bomb's Skype call, starring Vinny Caravella. Excitement is in the air today. Microsoft is revealing its new Xbox. We are here in the studio. We're going to be watching the live stream along with you folks and, giving you our fresh, raw reactions from here in the studio. We've got Brad Shoemaker, Patrick Klepek, and Vinny Caravella in the back, the man with the plan.
Take to our man in the field.
And a big green Jeff.
I'm going to throw to our man in the field. We have Jeff Gerstmann on the floor at the event.
The big green
Jeff,
egg himself.
what's it look like out there? Jeff, how's it going out there? It's very green. Would you agree?
You're very low again.
Okay, just talk.
Okay, I'm here at this thing. They had us start sitting down. I mean, since it's on TV, it'll probably actually start on time. I'll switch the camera around so you kind of see what the rest of this thing is.
Whoa.
Front row here. They are getting ready to start this thing. That guy's got a camera. Justin's here typing. How's the typing going, Justin?
I'm typing as fast as I can.
All right, type faster.
So much happening.
I'm stopping the live blog now by bothering you.
Jeff, what's the feeling there in the room? Have you heard any smoke about what we're going to see here today?
I mean, I haven't heard anything since getting into town, really, that you guys haven't heard back there. I mean, there's been kind of the added talk about EA Sports.
Hey, it's a mat trick.
Right
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's the man himself. Getting ready to go. And I'll stand up here and get a better shot of the room. It's not super big in here. They have domestic and foreign press present. So hearing a lot of German being spoken around here. But yeah, it's not a super large tent. It definitely looks bigger on the outside than it does in here. So,
how many people would you say are in there, all told?
How many people are in here? I don't know. What are we looking at? Like 200 people? I don't know. Like what? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's call it 200 people. I don't know. I'm shitty at actually estimating that sort of stuff. So,
have you seen any sort of signage or anything that might betray like new name or font or logo or anything, or is it just?
No, nothing like that. It's all been just the same thing that was on the invite. They've got signage for this thing all over the place. It just says Xbox. It just says a new generation revealed. So they're not tipping their hand at all with any of the signage or anything like that I've seen so far. That would be actually, should actually track down Keighley and ask him, because I know they've been, since they're here on site doing live streaming, they probably saw rehearsals. That's how I found out about the PS4 name.
Do you have any predictions or what are your expectations to see here today, Jeff?
Well, I know we're going to see Call of Duty. Some of the same stuff that I saw last week is going to show up here. So we're definitely going to see that. I suspect we'll see Forza. There was that McLaren Facebook page for the car manufacturer saying like, hey, you should watch the Xbox thing. So I think that's a pretty safe bet that we'll see Forza. Some people have been saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if it was PGR? I don't think that makes sense for this. They've already got a pretty established driving brand. They don't need to go back to PGR right now. And then there's been some people speculating a lot about EA Sports stuff that maybe we would see, next gen FIFA or maybe even NBA Live. I mean, that game is supposed to be coming back this year, and
right.
Maybe the way that they handle it is to only make it a next gen game, and kind of just call this current generation a total wash as far as EA basketball is concerned. So those are the kind of the guesses or the educated guesses I'd be making. I think on the name, I think we should just stick with Xbox.
Do you have any sort of dark horse hopes for something to be shown here?
The schedule for the rest of the day talks about like they come right up to the words hands-on and then don't actually use it. So my dark horse hope is that there'll actually be something worth seeing and playing here, and it won't just be all information, and it won't just be all here's the dashboard, here's the services end of it. Like I'm hoping there'll be some actual heat here for people that want to know more about video games.
Keighley on Twitter specifically used the term hands-on after the event.
The rumor that it would be there playable just hit Xbox Scene about 45 minutes ago. The most trustworthy of Xbox news sources.
Well, yeah. I'm
It's a
sorry.
scene.
What game would be playable? You said?
Jeff Keighley was talking about, he was using the term hands-on.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think they have us in a handful of different sessions over the course of the day for interviews or for kind of like breaking down the box. After this thing, there's then like a 45-minute thing that is being run by Major Nelson. I think they're actually just broadcasting that out on Twitch. That is going to kind of recap some of this stuff. And since that would be the non-televised audience, that almost seems like a place where they would say things like, talk more about the always online nature of that sort of stuff and kind of break down how that stuff's going to work, rather than bog down a television broadcast with a bunch of details about like that kind of nuts and bolts sort of stuff.
Hey, Jeff, have you looked under your seat?
It's the seats are not. There's nothing. Justin, is there anything under your seat? Check under your seat. Is there an Xbox under your seat?
That's the new Xbox.
What's the number on that sticker?
It's the size of your fingernail.
Xbox 25.
Xbox 25. Xbox 25.
Exclusive.
Xbox 25. You heard it here first. Giant Bomb exclusive. Xbox 25.
It's like Madden NFL 25, only for an Xbox.
That's how long they're expecting this one to last, until 2025.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's there's a lot of electricity in this room, Ryan Davis. It's going to be very exciting. A lot of people with clipboards looking very ready to say things about video games.
Who's the most stressed out looking person in the room?
I think it's actually a lot of the media. Everyone's super fucking tired. Everyone just got back from Judges Week, and everyone's like, "Oh, we got back on a bus," because all we do is complain.
Do you have a shot? Can you get an eye line of the teleprompter so you can watch it while they're doing their presentation?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you have a shot? Can you see the teleprompter?
Yes. The teleprompter is, you can see it there at the back of the room, that big TV, that's the prompter. They've got another one next to it, so yeah, I can turn around and see prompter during the presentation, which is always key. I always love doing that.
Fantastic. Brad, Patrick, any other questions for Jeff before we ride this rocket ship?
I think we're this close. I've purposely not been asking questions because I'm just ready to be surprised at this point.
Well, I think we can, if nothing else, confirm they're going to keep rocking that Xbox green.
Yeah, they are all about that green.
Excellent. Well, Jeff, we're about 10 minutes off from the start of the presentation here, so we're going to let you go, let you get settled in and ready for front row seat to history.
I'm ready for the future of interactive entertainment.
Just,
the man here with the pistol said he would shoot me if I didn't say it exactly like that.
Savor this moment, Jeff, because this is going to be the last time that you didn't know what the new Xbox was called. All right, there it is. That moment's gone. All right, Jeff Gerstmann, we're going to be hopefully checking back in with him after the press conference, after the presentation, get his post-show impressions. Jeff, thanks for chatting with us here.
Yeah, glad to look like a total idiot in front of this room full of people.
It's a first time for everything. We will check back in with you soon.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Next up.
We should point out, because I don't think it came up in that bit with Jeff, is that the way he's doing that he is holding up an iPad and wearing Beats headphones.
Yeah, he's got his Beats by Dre headphones. He's got his iPad that he was connecting to us through Skype, so could not look like more of a jackass in the middle of this Microsoft event, but doing it for the craft,
That's right.
Doing it for the job.
Next up, Christiana Amanpour. What do you have?
How does this affect peace in the Middle East?
Who knows? We don't know. It could have incredible ramifications, but that's we're still 9 minutes and 30-odd seconds away from knowing that. What's our technology situation here? Are we stable?
I don't know. Chat might be up or down. If you get bumped out of chat,
Our engineer is shrugging sheepishly.
Chat may, yeah.
Okay.
Why would that be happening?
Well, let's go ahead and change that.
Not what I'm seeing. No, it's.
Either way, the stream will keep going. If the site has issues, Just go to the Twitch stream. That will stay up.
And
Yes.
you know what? We know what works, and if it all fails, we'll just play Magicka again.
Yeah, exactly. We've got these
Yesterday.
Xbox controllers. We're ready to go with that PC. Yeah, if for whatever reason, if GiantBomb.com/chat bursts into flames at any point during this, we will still be streaming on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GiantBomb.
Right.
So you can go there should we experience any sort of issues.
And we should say that if you're on the Giant Bomb page, what you have in the upper left is us yapping over the stream.
That's right.
Underneath that, you'll have just the raw feed when it starts of the stream. If you find that we are being too prescient, too on the nose with all our
If we're being too real for you,
with our insight,
if we're blowing your mind too much during
you
this,
can just mute
with our insights,
mute the experts and watch the stream.
just shut us down.
Mute
You
the
know,
experts. It's a great feature.
available exclusively on GiantBomb.com. Find it nowhere else.
Technology's so cutting edge, it's breaking.
Who else is running multiple conflicting live video streams on their page? No one!
Just out of sync enough to be annoying.
GiantBomb.com. Hopefully the stream works.
Yep. My ads are just about 3 seconds apart.
Oh, perfect. That's good. A little Doppler effect there on. What are we advertising right now?
Look at the
Oh yes, the Galaxy S4.
Galaxy S4.
All right, so
Get one today.
Back
Giantbomb.com.
for realsies.
Yes, Vinny.
Xbox. This is what we're hearing. Really, just straight up Xbox.
No, there was So what we're hearing is one guy on Twitter said that Twitch, which is like as Jeff said, is hosting a post show. Supposedly had a logo related to an ad for Call of Duty Ghosts that called it just Xbox. So that's been a fairly persistent
Exit
rumor
Skype.
that the machine would just be called Xbox. In addition to what would you say? Xbox Now was one of the
Xbox
ones?
Now exclamation mark hit.
Oh,
hit the-
exclamation mark!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's terrible,
Yeah.
but I really hope that
It's
it is.
really bad.
I really want it to be an
No,
exclamation mark.
really
So then in
bad.
Spain, do they have to put the exclamation mark on the other side?
Both sides.
Well, I don't know what now is in Spanish, so.
Ahora.
Ahora? Xbox ahora!
That sounds kind of cool.
Is that now? I don't know. Is that time? I think.
I think it's
Yeah,
now.
I think
That's now.
Okay. It is now.
We're redefining.
Think about that.
language.
Yeah. Don't even say the Xbox. It is now.
Oh, 6 minutes.
6 minutes, 20 seconds until the Microsoft live stream starts.
Here's my prediction.
What's your Vinny Caravelle in the
is
back with the predictions here.
Cutting edge.
Vinny, go ahead.
I am predicting partnership with a live streaming technology. I'm gonna go with Twitch.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet if they're going to do anything like that with Ustream being the partner of choice for Sony.
Yep.
I think we're gonna have out of the box Netflix, Hulu partnerships. I don't know if those will be announced today.
I mean, I
that would be
expect
just like a
It's a line
logo
item.
spread, right?
I mean,
Like,
everything-
Look at your media partner.
Everything they have now, you can guarantee is
I was
still
going
there.
to say I expect full parity with whatever sort of media partnerships they currently
ESPN?
have with ESPN, with HBO Go. I think all that stuff is gonna still be in place for this new system. So I kind of the question is, how do they go beyond that? Like, what is it? Like, what else is out there that isn't already being serviced on the Xbox?
How about this? Headsets or do you think mic on the controller?
both?
I think they stick
Both?
with headsets. Yeah.
I think
Headsets and they got the new Kinect, and that'll have something in it, some kind of microphone.
Yeah, I mean, so new Kinect in the box, foregone conclusion.
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
I feel like that's
yeah. Well, the rumors have been that you have to have that Kinect plugged in to even use the thing. So yeah.
I just don't see a world where they roll out a new console and immediately roll out an add-on. Like it just
Yeah.
if Kinect is gonna be real for them and they're gonna keep trying to support this this part of their business, it's got to be right there in the box.
If you're going to integrate it into your OS in a way that is truly meaningful, you have to be able to program it to guarantee that everyone has it. I mean, that was
Absolutely.
the hard drive conundrum of the Xbox 360.
Do you think that's the big lesson learned here for Microsoft from the last generation of getting rid of this multiple SKU issue of just having these different standards of having to kind of aim for
I think
developers?
It's possible the SKUs just come in a different form, right? Like there will still be SKUs, but maybe that's like the subsidization that happens with
Or
cable
just
manufacturers.
simple stuff like hard drive size, things like
here's,
that.
Here's a question: like it probably won't they probably won't explain this, but what do you think the default hard drive is on the low-end SKU
Oh,
for the new Xbox?
good question.
500.
500?
Low end? You think they'll have? Oh, sorry, were you guys saying they'll have multiple SKUs?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Expecting
yeah.
there's multiple SKUs, expecting that different size hard drives is kind of like one of the core differences between those. Oh, also I'll expect color difference. So, you know, low end will be one color, high end will be another.
You got at least 500.
500. Brad, what do you think? I don't know what you think.
Sorry, I'm soliciting Twitter for questions because our chat is still having some issues.
Technology man, Brad.
Yeah.
Low end SKU hard drive.
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think the base hard drive is on the low-end SKU in the new Xbox?
Size?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So the spec rumors on that Xbox scene post were 250 for the low-end SKU.
I was gonna
50
say 250.
I mean, you know,
Yeah,
they want
500.
to sell as much digital content as they can. It behooves them to give you big storage.
But they're also doing a lot of stuff streaming.
Yeah,
Like a lot of it
yeah,
is not like
yeah.
download and hold it on your system.
Sure.
Like almost
But-
all the partnership stuff.
Yeah, but you know, there've been all these rumors about you have to install games to play them,
Sure.
and they'll probably be selling them day one on the marketplace.
Yeah.
You know, it's big business all
But
around.
250, that's, you know, 25 10 gig games.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that covers a lot of people's bases for like when you're talking about the mass market.
Yeah.
Like what they're going to buy over the lifetime of a system. They're going to be largely streaming stuff, and then maybe about
And
10
you're also
games.
talking about this first year for this system when they are, you know, they have to ramp up game production. Like, you know, don't forget, this is the beginning of a generation. And beginning of generations, there's that kind of like, all right, we've got our launch chunk of games, and there's a couple months where there's kind of nothing, and then a few more games come out. Like, I feel like this is a pattern. Vinny Caravella has money in his hand.
You got real money. Who wants to get in? Who wants to get in? Oh, geez, you got way
don't know
more
about that.
real money than I have.
You want to do this?
I don't know about that.
First words.
What's-
First words out of anybody's mouth on the stage.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hello. Good. No, you know what?
$1.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to say good morning.
Yeah.
Don
Brad's-
Matrick is
Brad's
a good
right.
morning kind of guy.
It's good morning.
So you guys are going good morning?
I'm putting Buck on good morning.
All right,
I
I'm
didn't-
going on hello.
Damn, I didn't bring my
Quickly
wallet.
followed by and good morning. Hello
So you
and good
think-
morning.
So you think hello first?
I think hello first.
Well, we're going to
Patrick?
find out in less than 2 minutes. We've got a minute 40 here on our countdown
Do
clock.
they? But here, so okay. So if we assume like hello, good morning, or a version of that, who does he address first? Those in attendance or those watching at home?
Those in attendance.
Okay, and
And
thank
those-
you to those in
As well as
attendance
those
and
watching-
at home, the millions watching
Yeah.
around the world.
Internationally around
So,
the globe.
foregone conclusion, Matrick up first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody
I
want
mean,
to
we
go?
saw,
Yeah,
we
well,
saw
he was
him.
walking.
But then
in the
again,
house.
it could be one of those executives sitting in the front row watching the MC kind of things. It happens.
I don't think they can introduce a brand new. I don't think they can start off with someone who doesn't already have like a public connection to Xbox.
It would take a real force of personality to get up there for the first time
Also,
and own this thing.
This new Xbox is Matrix's baby. Like
Yeah.
he has seen that he rose up on the Kinect, became like the leading force in designing this. Like this is his project. Like for however it works out,
Yeah.
this is Matrix.
Yeah.
So he is going to be the guy that comes out.
All right.
Another buck up.
Last bit of the show.
Okay.
I'm gonna montage, verbal goodbye, thank you. I'm just gonna last word you hear. Thank you. I'll take all comers. You could say
See you at E3.
I'm siding with Patrick
So you
on this
think
one.
thank you and see you at E3.
See you at E3.
See you at E3.
I think it'll be something more grandiose and abstract about the true next generation of entertainment. The possibilities are infinite. I don't know.
Or tagline. You think
Yeah.
it is
Oh,
a
you
something.
I think tagline is written on the screen during some montage. I don't think
One
that's
second.
something they'll
One second. Here we go.
say out loud. Let's cut to the feed here. We're watching this on Xbox, and we've got
Jeff
the
Gerstmann
Major
back in the field.
just wearing that dress. He
Absolutely. Welcome to our campus. Welcome to our home. This is where we come up with the
he's making it
ideas
work.
And the magician.
What is this like? What is this
Ian,
crossed
can we-
arm thing they
can
got
you big
going
knob
on?
up over here a little
It's the
bit?
one
Just
place
turn up the big
where
knob.
You are going to get all of your information, right?
Yeah, and
There
you're
we
going to be
go.
watching this
Great.
on your
Thank you, Ian.
console or Xbox.com, but we are streaming live around the world, so welcome everybody in every country that we're in. I also want to say this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
E3 is right around the corner, and we're going to be bringing you even
E3
more
is right around the corner.
By the way, this does not count as first
I was
word.
gonna say this is not.
No.
We're not counting the little pre-roll here.
This is pre-recorded.
Oh, for everybody watching, our chat is back up. So giantbomb.com/chat.
Yeah, if you've been having trouble, giantbomb.com/chat, go ahead and reload that page if you're already on it and you want to get in on the chat action. Brad Shoemaker's got a laptop up here.
What?
And,
They dragged Gates out?
Then we added you.
Holy shit!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Take all my money.
Fuck it! I was gonna put like long shot.
Oh my god!
Seeing Jay Allard.
My morning, my month,
Ed Freeze.
my year.
They're bringing out the old Xbox guns. This is great.
Added your movements. My moves.
And my voice.
All right.
Oh, he'll show up for anything.
Forever. Again.
Because we're gonna take all.
I don't know. Can I wear bandages on my face? No. Well, okay. I'll still come.
He told me I could.
God damn it!
You and your TV are going to have a relationship.
It's gonna recognize
My name, my voice, my friends.
my family,
My movies.
me.
A lot of PAX East footage there.
Things I like
Love.
and really love.
We're going to use
Groundbreaking technology and the power of the cloud.
Hey,
Hey!
hey, Steven Spielberg.
Good for Nathan Vella.
Yeah, Nathan Vella backs back with Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams.
New boom blocks confirmed.
And share more.
Well, stop just watching.
And start feeling.
Alive. Alive. Alive.
Alive.
Xbox Alive.
I'm glad that we're starting really hyperbolic right off the start.
Ian, I'm being told the volume on the show is low for people in the stream.
All right, there's Dawn.
Good morning. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for joining us on the Microsoft.
Oh, you hold on to that for now.
With Xbox.
And Ian,
I
it was
spent my
for
entire
on the
career
stream, not for in the
interactive
room. I
entertainment,
don't know if those are different
and
volumes.
I've never been more excited
Okay.
than I am today. Because today, we put you at the center of a new generation in the living room. Where your games look and feel like nothing else, where your TV becomes more intelligent, where all of your entertainment comes alive in one place. More than a decade ago, Xbox put the most advanced hardware and software in the hands of creators so they could realize new visions for games. We believed in a connected future, so we made an early bet on Xbox Live, a living service that gets better each and every day. Gamers were hungry to adopt emerging technologies. And with Xbox 360, we launched the HD era of games. You wanted more competition and bigger communities, so we doubled down on Xbox Live. With Kinect, we made you the controller. We brought you new interactive content, two-way TV, fitness, sports, and now, nearly 8 years after our launch, Xbox 360 remains a vibrant platform, continuing to lead the industry in sales. In a few short weeks at E3, we'll be sharing great news about what's next on Xbox 360. We're thankful to you and proud of our leadership position in this thriving $65 billion a year industry.
About a $99 360.
Today, we look forward. Incredible shifts are happening across games and entertainment, with exciting new ways to play and have fun. Audiences are spending their time enjoying different types of content: core and casual games, live and recorded television, sports and movies. These stories are lighting up on every device, from the big screen to the tablet to the mobile phone. The living room has changed radically over the last 8 years with the addition of the cloud-powered internet, voice and gesture, and more devices.
Where's Jeff?
To continue to lead, we must provide compelling answers to
Don kind of looks
new
like hell.
questions.
Think? Probably up all
Can we
night.
take what you love and make it better?
Oh, he earned it.
Oh yeah.
Can we improve a
Got a
living
little
room
punch.
that has become too complex,
Still-
too
the suit's
fragmented,
still nicely
and too
pressed.
slow by harmonizing
He's
your
got a little
experiences?
bit less of the country club
Can we offer
smarm.
new
Yeah.
performance
Sad eyes.
and
Yeah.
power
Yes.
to inspire the world's greatest
Doesn't
creators?
quite have that verve.
Team Xbox is on a new mission. Design and build an all-in-one system to light up a new generation of games, TV, and entertainment. It must be built for the future with hardware, software, and services that put you at the center. And at its very core, it must be simple, instant, and complete. We believe we can evolve what you love to make it decidedly better, and deliver breakthrough innovations. So, it's time for technology to step behind the curtain and for you and your entertainment to take center stage.
That's the tech bit.
Today, we're thrilled to unveil the ultimate all-in-one home entertainment system.
Just say it.
The one with the power to create experiences that look and feel like nothing else. The one that makes your TV more intelligent. The one system for a new generation. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
Holy shit! Well, blew the.
Well, there's a console for
and
you.
they're showing the box. Holy shit!
Yeah, take that, Sony. We
Holy
got a
crap!
box.
It looks like the PlayStation. It looks like that blurry trailer that we saw.
Kinda.
This is exactly what that thing looked like.
Little did they know they both used the same design house for their console design.
You mean Apple?
What?
Kinect?
Oh, that's the Kinect. Okay. That mic like hangs down?
It looks like it's part of the base.
Okay.
Like that. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
look,
right.
It doesn't look like it's gonna.
The base is the
move.
mic. You're right. Oh, weird. It just. Whoa. Okay.
All right.
Same buttons.
Where do you think that those start
Dude,
select
this
buttons
is-
Yeah,
are now?
task switching. What is that?
It looks like those top
Yeah, I wonder
shoulder
if that,
buttons.
I wonder if that is task switching. 2 windows.
Yeah, it looked like a. Yeah.
The 2 top shoulder buttons looked like they had some squeeze to them
I don't know
potentially.
if I like where the guide button is.
It'll take a bit.
Man, that was the full Monty though. So it's just like, here you go.
Xbox One.
And they've got one on the stage.
Available in stores now.
This is it, Xbox One.
I want to hear their like. I want to hear like the marketing
Yeah.
like
Look at that Kinect.
philosophical like why
That's
it's all
big.
This
this.
system
That
is
Kinect's
built to
big.
amaze on day one and continuously
go.
improve over the generation ahead. In designing Xbox One, we've obsessed about every finite detail. In every engineering milestone, at every corner, in every feature, the principles we followed were to be simple, instant, and complete. Please welcome Yusuf Mehdi to show some of the new experiences you'll find only on Xbox One.
Why would I get an Xbox One when I can get a PS4? It's crazy.
Thanks, Don.
'Cause
Good morning.
Xbox
How you guys
is
doing?
number 1.
Here at Xbox, it's no secret that we love gaming. We love the immersive worlds, the epic battles, and the thrill of competing with our friends. With Xbox One, you're going to experience a new generation of gaming like you've never seen before. And you're going to see that in a little bit and a lot more at E3. For now, though, I want to show you how we're going to take that passion for gaming and apply it to your entire TV experience. Join me over here in front of the new Xbox and Kinect. Now, let me set up the
Just
aspiration.
calling it Kinect.
What if a single device could provide all your entertainment? And what if that device could turn on your TV and talk to all of the devices in your living room? And what if it was
Oh my
always
God,
ready
Don
and connected?
Matrick is a trending topic on Twitter.
Well, now it's all going to begin with 2 simple words. Xbox on.
This is a live demo.
Was that the boot animation?
I don't.
That's a nice, fast,
And it's that
stylish
simple.
boot animation.
Xbox
please,
One
that's not-
instantly recognizes me and gets me to my own personal home screen. No more manual login, no more waiting on system or game updates. Now the home screen, as you can see, has a familiar interface. But let me point out for you a
Big
couple of
selling
unique
point for
differences.
everyone, that instant
First
on
of all, it'll
there.
remember what I was last doing. So for example, here in the center of the screen, you can see I was playing one of my favorite racing games. This one
Here in
here
the
is
center
just
of the
one
screen,
of the
you
new
can see
amazing
hardcore
Xbox
pornography.
One exclusives you're about to hear a lot more about. You can also see I was listening to some music by Deadmau5 and watching a movie. Now, like many of you, I also discovered new entertainment based on what my friends like. And for that, we created a new area called Trending. Here I get a snapshot of what is popular in the entertainment world, both with my friends and with the entire Xbox Live community. Of course, I can still browse the great content I've come to love on Xbox, such as games, TV and movies, and music. Xbox Go Home. Now that you've seen the start screen of
Go
home
home,
experience,
Xbox!
let's see what millions of people do every day.
Throwing
on
rocks
their
at
TV.
it.
Guess what? They watch TV. It sounds simple and obvious, and it should be, but today it isn't because of the need to change inputs to get to live TV. All that is going to change with Xbox One. Let me show you.
Show me.
Xbox, watch TV. And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
CBS, what's up?
CBS property. We need to say this is a CBS property.
Now here
nice
in
big
Seattle, I'm a
watermark on it.
Comcast subscriber, so this is the programming available in my area.
But if we just
But
call that a
hold on.
bug.
Hang on.
Let me show you how we're going to take live TV and make it not only integral to the Xbox, but also incredibly useful through a great new feature called instant switching.
How are they getting the TV into the machine?
Xbox.
That's a great
game.
question.
Go to TV. Go to music. Watch TV. Yes, that fast. Did you see how instant that was?
The thing either has to have a coax jack in it or be like a pass-through
Come on,
for your
it
cable
was
box.
so good. Let's see it again. Let's see it again. Go to Internet Explorer. Oh, nice.
Or it's doing
Watch
over IP.
TV.
Maybe. A lot of that stuff isn't served.
Watch
over the
movie.
internet.
Switching between live TV and all my games.
I wouldn't be
entertainment
surprised
now
if this
as
is
fast
a
as switching
like
channels
in your,
on
you know,
TV
if
remote.
your market supports it
Now,
in
you've
your
already seen
carrier,
how
like
simple it is to use
I
your
expect
hands to navigate through
significant
the Xbox
caveats
One.
for the
But we're
TV
going to
part of
create
this.
a new set of universal gestures to control your entire TV experience. Gestures such as grab and pan and swipe up. Let me show you one of my favorites. Here's an example of how I can get easily
Call
back
it
to
the
my home
Harlem
screen
Shake.
from anywhere in the system. I simply spread my hands, grab the screen, and I'm back home. And if I want to get
Straight up
back to
Minority
my
Report.
movie,
Yep.
I grab and I'm back to the movie.
Wow.
And again, this is not only now simple, but it makes it instant to get what you want. Now, have you ever wanted to do more than one thing at a time when you're watching TV? Of course you have. On Xbox One, the ability to do multiple things at once on your TV is now a reality. Introducing Snap Mode for the Xbox. Xbox, Snap Internet Explorer. With Snap Mode, I can run multiple programs alongside one another and easily interact between them without having to shut one down and start up another. Xbox, Favorites. Star Trek. Okay, so right now I'm watching Star Trek, and I've heard great things about the sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness. So now I can use Internet Explorer
Another CBS property.
and my cell phone as a remote control, for example, to watch a trailer, and I can even navigate to find movie times and buy tickets.
I hate you.
And again,
Dude,
at
watch
any
the
given
movie.
time now, if I want to go home, I just grab and I'm home.
Just watch. Come on, just watch Star Trek. Come on, just put on Star Trek.
We don't
It's a
need to
good
do.
part too. Come on.
Now I'd like to introduce for you another amazing thing you can do on your Xbox. Skype. Skype on Xbox One connects you to family and
As we
friends in ways
demonstrated
you aren't
earlier.
gonna find on
Finally.
TVs.
A
Not only will you
device
get
I can
Skype
use
experience
Skype
with a
on.
widescreen HD.
Will it do
with the
Netflix
best
as well?
remote camera available, but only on Xbox will you be able to do group video calls on your TV. Let's take a look at Skype in Snap Mode. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab my movie and zoom back to it. And to help you show it off,
If that Kinect
I've
is really
asked
high
my
res,
friend
it could
DJ,
actually be
one of the
kinda
members
nice.
on our sports team, to call in and help me demonstrate. And
This
right on cue,
strikes me as an
DJ
interesting.
calls
Like
in.
I realize that they're talking kind of
Xbox.
platform and
Answer call.
not focusing on games so much at this presentation.
Hey DJ, thank you for calling
But
in
it
to help
strikes
me
me as
show
really
off Skype and
interesting
Snap Mode.
the way they're giving this
Looks like you're working pretty hard out
multitasking
there.
stuff here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like-
Yusuf, thanks for having me. I'm happy to do it.
That does
You know,
sound like a
looks you're
Skype
doing
call.
okay yourself. I'm looking forward to you showing off the great work we're doing with our partners at ESPN.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's what's coming up next. So why don't you sit back and enjoy it?
That's great. Just make sure when you get to
Why don't you
fantasy,
sit back and
you show
enjoy
the
it?
real version. You know, the one where I'm in first place.
Yeah. Skype in call.
That was a very natural phone
Let me
call.
go ahead though and show you that
Those two
Xbox
have
sports
good rapport.
offering
Great rapport.
that DJ was talking about. Xbox, watch ESPN. All right, let me set
right
up the
before
scene
that
here.
guy gets sucked in.
Imagine I'm at home watching an NBA game during the regular season, but if you're like me, I like to keep up with my fantasy team. Now what I can do though is instead of having to pull out necessarily a separate device, when my player scores here like LeBron, I automatically get an alert that just pops
Sounded
up on the
very
TV,
nice.
and I can say Xbox, show fantasy. And
Game of
now I
Thrones
get my
comes up.
fantasy players
Oh man, if they did that
right alongside.
they do that for the NFL, but unfortunately that's partnered with Sony.
Really one of my favorites here, and that's
Giving that
Stats
for my
Update
Yahoo
Live.
Fantasy.
But in addition, I can go ahead and check out league standings, and you can see here's where I passed DJ with that score from LeBron. Always good when you're doing the
That's
demo.
actually pretty cool.
And in addition, I can go ahead here and I have a nice thing called Featured Highlights. So I can see clips of my favorite players when they've done things, even if I'm not there. So let me throw this one to the full screen. Here's my center, Tyson Chandler. And here's how he helps me dominate the fantasy league with plays like that.
Oh, yes,
Always
the
very
press
nice.
conference.
All right, now what you're seeing, though, is just one example of what we can do with live TV. But can you imagine what we could do with the Super Bowl or the Golden Globes or even with political debates with this ability to have interactive TV? All right, finally, let's tackle what I think is the biggest challenge with watching TV. Anybody?
The cable bill.
For me, it's finding what to watch and keeping up with it.
The fact that they rip us off
One guy.
month after month with bundling.
Xbox, show the
Duck
guy.
Dynasty.
Now you can find, discover, and watch TV in 3 powerful new ways. Voice
The channel
control,
guide.
search and navigation, favorites,
channel guide.
and trending. With the Xbox One guide, I see all my local TV listings right through
There's
my
some
Xbox.
CBS up
and
in
I can
this
use my voice to
motherfucker.
check out what's on. Xbox.
That's a good tagline.
Today Show.
That's for the new fall season.
Watch Sci-Fi Channel.
There's some CBS up in this motherfucker.
Watching
this
TV.
fall. All up
What's
in your
on
grill.
HBO? Pretty cool, huh? Let's see that again.
Maybe you didn't catch that.
Maybe you didn't see me change TV channels.
Watch CBS.
Yeah!
Show the guide. See how easy that is? No more memorizing channels or hunting for remote control.
Unfortunately, all you can watch
The
is
next thing I want to show you is
CBS.
how I stay on top of all of the series that I
Due
love to
to
follow.
partnerships that
Xbox favorites.
strategic partnerships.
Also,
that-
we're buying
Favorites
Microsoft.
area is an easy way to keep up with all the TV shows that I like to watch. All I have to do is pin the content in one convenient place. It's a lot like having my own personal channel. And finally, there's one of the areas I like the most. Xbox Trending. Trending gives me a glance at what everyone
Xbox
in the Xbox Live
hashtag.
community is watching. I like how current
That
it is.
Xbox.
It's up to the minute.
Xbox
From here, I can
Tumblr.
instantly jump into the most popular shows.
I'm a little
Trending
put
isn't
off
just
at how
for
much
live
they're
TV.
talking about all this stuff
There's also a
without
section for video on
like
demand.
What it-
So I can
talking
see
a
what
little bit
people are
about like
liking, no matter what
how
time
is
zone it's
this
in.
happening on like a
Xbox,
That's
go.
always a-
slightly technical level.
So there you have it. The all-in-one system where it all comes together. Games, movies, music, web, and now Skype and live TV. The one place where you are now at the
Microsoft
center of your
traditionally
entertainment.
does those in.
The one
They're going to
place
do
where
those
it's
in
simple
breakout
and
meetings
instant to
break that
connect
out
with
the
your
jets.
friends.
Yeah.
because
This is the beginning of a new generation of games and entertainment.
that's the
This is the
difference between
beginning
Sony and
of truly
Microsoft. Sony
intelligent
tends to be a
TV.
little more forthcoming
Now
about
I'd like
that
to welcome
stuff.
Mark Whitten to the stage to show you the magic and science that makes all of this possible.
All
right.
Or
Mark
that.
Whitten, board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, here we
My
go.
problem is like the Kinect just didn't work for me.
Well, this
So,
is a
like,
new Kinect.
I know,
mean,
but like you gotta earn it. Like I'm sorry, I can't take all this on faith right now.
Well, it'll be in the
At
box.
Xbox, we're focused on how
I agree.
you play
That's you know
and how you're
the
entertained.
history on
We're
Kinect
driven
and its
to build a future-proof system
basic
that brings together
functionality.
the cloud, smart devices, new content, and new ways to interact with all of your entertainment. Yusuf just showed you
.com.
intelligent TV and the high performance of Xbox One. There's an amazing amount of technology that enables all that you've just seen. I'm thrilled to be the one to show you under the hood and give you a taste of what powers the new Xbox.
I want to taste your hoods.
There are 3 ambitious investments that we made to drive a new generation of entertainment. First, there's the console and the revolutionary Xbox One architecture. Second,
It's a PC.
advances with the most important input devices, Kinect, the controller, and Smart Glass. And third, Xbox Live, reinvented by the power of the cloud. So starting with our system, it's connected and ready. It's an elegant design that meets the needs of the new generation. The heart of that system is raw power. From 500 million transistors and 512 megs of RAM in the Xbox 360 to over 5 billion transistors and 8 gigabytes of RAM in Xbox One. USB 3.0, Wi-Fi Direct, a Blu-ray drive,
Whoa.
a native 64-bit architecture,
500 gig
and
hard drive.
variable power states, all while delivering
There you go, Vinny.
practically silent operation.
500 gig hard drive.
This is a
What's
modern,
Wi-Fi Direct?
powerful box
Not sure.
engineered to deliver now and well into the future. But it's how we marshal that power, how we create the system that works to deliver the world's greatest games and provides the flexibility to power entirely new, connected experiences. To do this, we've brought technology from across Microsoft to create an industry first. The soul of the new system is the Xbox One architecture. 3 operating systems in one. The first is the best of our Xbox operating system,
DOS.
made even better by providing deep and instant access to the hardware so that creators have no limits in harnessing the power of Xbox One for cinematic realism. The second is the kernel of Windows, providing consistent access to web-powered applications and experiences. Flexible, powerful, simple. The third connects these two operating systems to create instant switching, multitasking, and effortless control. Only Microsoft and Xbox could bring this level of power, performance, and sophistication to the living room. And it changes everything. The Xbox One architecture enables the new experiences that you just saw from Yusuf. There's no waiting. You can switch to your game like it's a TV channel flip. You can snap Internet Explorer in the new Star Trek movie. But how did the TV know Yusuf and react to his voice? We're bringing a new Kinect sensor paired with every Xbox One, which puts you at the center of your entertainment.
Smart.
Kinect is completely redesigned to respond instantly to you, your voice, and your gestures.
Oh.
Voice is now more conversational. It's faster, and it supports the entire family. And our new proprietary time of flight measures the time about 13 billionths of a second that it takes individual photons to bounce off of you to create unprecedented accuracy and precision. Over 2 gigabits of data per second to understand your world. This is rocket science level stuff. Games and applications will create new experiences
Make a rocket then.
like you've never seen
I'd much
before.
rather have that.
3 years ago, Kinect
$500
ushered in a
rocket?
new capability to make you the controller. Let's take a peek at the power behind the next generation Kinect
That would be some
sensor.
shit if they announced a price
We
of this
started
thing.
with the ability to see your
All right,
world.
sell me on Kinect.
Now that world is
They gave
crisp,
us the internal
it's
hard
clear
drive
and
space,
beautiful.
like-
A 1080p, wider field view capture of your world. As you saw with Yusuf's Skype call, Kinect's camera and Skype offer the best shared communication experience in the living room. In 2010, Kinect layered in an analog understanding of how you move. But in 2013, we revolutionized this capability.
Awesome.
There are more joints. And now, for the first time, understanding the slightest rotation of a wrist or a shoulder. We understand your balance.
Still no fingers.
The transfer of weight from one foot to another. The energy of emotion. When you're exercising, it can read your heartbeat. This is human control for a human experience. Now, we wouldn't bring you next generation gameplay without innovating on our controller.
Great.
For the new generation, we're taking the world's best controller and we're making it better. The Xbox One controller is updated with over 40 design innovations. It features updated ergonomics and an integrated battery compartment that just fits better for gamers of all ages. New
more battery
dynamic
packs.
impulse triggers allow creators to program feedback directly into the triggers. And a newly designed
Wow.
D-pad creates precision for immersive gaming. This is
Crazy.
your controller.
Resistance on
designed
individual
by
triggers.
gamers, for gamers, for the next generation. And we can't talk about input innovation without Smart Glass. Last
Yeah, you
year,
can.
we
You
unveiled
could.
Smart Glass to enable your devices
That's cool.
to work together
We
with
believe
your
in you,
Xbox.
Mark Whitten. Come on.
Your
Just
tablet
swipe
can
passes.
instantly become a remote
we
control
just-
and a deep companion experience.
Xbox Skip.
We've had over 10 million downloads of Smart Glass for the Xbox 360. But with this new generation, your smart device will behave like it's born to work with Xbox One because it's natively part of the platform. Kinect, controller, Smart Glass. Innovative, familiar devices to control your experience your way. But the real magic is what happens when all of these devices work together
Does
to
it look like a
create
feed
all new
drive?
experiences.
A what?
The new Kinect sensor
like a
is the
disk
binding
drive?
power between these devices.
Yeah.
When you press power on or volume up,
not a tray,
when you
right?
change the channel on your Smart Glass device, Kinect seamlessly makes it work. When you pick up your controller, Kinect recognizes you and the controller, and it gets you into your latest game save instantly. Speak, and your troops follow your commands. Raise your controller, and a virtual shield follows. Your devices work in harmony to create a lag-free, instant, and complete experience.
All right,
Now,
Like, show us what that means.
to truly evolve the next generation of games and entertainment, you need access to the most powerful entertainment service. The new Xbox Live is built on Xbox One to amplify an all-new generation. Based on the same membership you have today, but now more powerful, more personal, and more intelligent. When we launched Xbox Live in 2002, it was powered by 500 servers. With the advent of the 360, that number had grown to over 3,000. Today, 15,000 servers power the modern Xbox Live experience. But this year, we will have more than 300,000 servers for Xbox One, more than the entire world's computing power in 1999.
This is the layer of pollution we expect to be generated from all of these Xbox Live servers. A green haze will encapsulate the globe.
A gas mask stored in the cloud so you can access your movies, your music,
well, the premium
your games, your saves, anytime, anywhere. As you've seen today, Live brings all new experiences, including Skype and what's trending across games and entertainment, and of course, intelligent TV. And playing games is brought to a whole new level. Just imagine. You will now have a dedicated game DVR to capture and access your magic moments and save them to the cloud. With our native editing and sharing tools, you'll have the most amazing bragging rights on Xbox Live. Achievements become dynamic and changing. They tell your personal story of how you play, not just what you've done. You will play richer matches with the future of matchmaking. And our new asynchronous capability will allow you to search for your perfect match in your favorite game while you play another game, while you watch a movie, or while you browse the web. And finally,
while you're distracted by like a fourth
take
thing
advantage
also.
of our worldwide multi-data center infrastructure to drive direct game computation. This means bigger matches with more players. It means living and persistent worlds.
And it means that Xbox Live is now free!
Yeah, right.
There you have it. The breakthrough Xbox One architecture. Next generation inputs anchored by Kinect.
You didn't actually talk about the architecture,
and a completely redefined Xbox Live. You've seen how we've built it. But the real magic happens when you put that power in the hands of the world's greatest creators. I'm proud to introduce Andrew Wilson from Electronic Arts.
Who?
Is our chat down again?
Guy who's going to show you Battlefield. Yeah, chat unfortunately is not up at the moment.
Hi.
Today marks the beginning of a brand new,
Oh, that guy.
broad, strategic
He's the FIFA
partnership
guy.
between EA and Microsoft. In the months ahead, we will share many of the details of this very special relationship. But for today, I want to start with the world's first look at EA Sports on Xbox One. We share a common vision with Microsoft. The game should be intelligent,
Isn't
dynamic,
Xbox One what you would have called the
connected,
first
rich
Xbox
with
Yeah,
until
actually,
now?
but like over the course of this presentation so far, every
We're
time they say
developing
Xbox
full
One,
games for
wait, are
Xbox
you
One
referring back to
that
the
are
original
all
Xbox?
Like
and
remember how
better.
you started saying PlayStation
FIFA,
1 to refer to the first one?
Madden
Like
NFL,
that? Yeah, that's a little
NBA
iffy.
Live, and
Although I guess
UFC.
I was saying old Xbox.
Sure.
That EA UFC game.
All four will launch in the next 12 months. All four will be revolutionary, and all four will fundamentally change the way you play.
All four.
Best of all, this new generation will be powered by EA Sports Ignite, an all-new game engine that we're unveiling for the very first time today.
Wait, what happened to the Infinity Engine?
That's on fire. Engine, I think.
EA Sports Ignite is designed specifically to help us blur the line between real and virtual.
It's a bag
For
of
us,
peyote.
creating a new engine started by
Mushrooms in
examining
every
what
box.
defines
Yep.
sports
Light it up.
at the highest level. Instincts and decision-making.
That's right.
Human
Ignite.
intelligence,
This
speed and
bowl of
agility,
drugs.
true play emotion, dynamic environments that impact how
goddamn
the game is
hippie.
played. Living
Buzzword,
worlds.
buzzword.
They're
This
not
is the
going to
essence
say a
of
word
sports.
about DRM
Let's hear
or
from
like
some of
network
the best
requirements, are
athletes
they?
in the world?
No.
That all happened, I think, in those meetings with Jeff.
Yeah.
The mind is what makes us all different. You know, we.
Honestly, I'm a little
everyone
surprised
believes
that
in
they
gym, but the way we
even
think
talked
is what makes
as
us all
detailed as
individuals.
they did
Yeah, even given
with Witten
the
there.
specs was interesting.
These guys
I thought they
know
might
it
just
is
take us
fast.
over.
Although I think it's weird, like being like 5 million transistors and not talk about like the clock speed of the CPU.
Just some real basic details would have been nice.
I mean, they did
Like,
say 8 gigs of RAM, but they
Yeah.
didn't specify.
Right.
It's interesting, like kind of contrast between this and the Sony thing. You know, at the Sony thing, I feel like all the tech stuff was laid out pretty naturally. It
Yeah.
felt like this is just conversation that I'm having here with Mark Cerny. This felt like hardcore Microsoft. Like here's the written line.
It's a bunch of overblown hype, basically.
Yeah, like we don't want to say anything too specifically, so this has to be worded just so.
A bunch of grand-sounding language that doesn't actually mean anything.
Like 5 million transistors sounds like, oh, that is impressive. But like, what is that?
That's a number. I mean,
5 million's a lot.
I can't count that high like on my hands.
Pretty sure it was 5 billion.
The further you can go.
Or what, you know what I mean?
Either way, like I have no context for that.
It tells you next to nothing.
I remember walking out to that.
Like,
I don't know who that actually tells anything other than that's a number.
He's like the hype man. He's like, let's
It sounded like there's only one SKU though, right? If they're just coming out there saying, here's the hard drive, here's blah blah blah. Here, there will be no connectless SKU. There won't be a SKU without
everybody
a 500 gig hard drive. Maybe there's just the one package.
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like Microsoft more than anyone, in this last generation, felt the troubles of having multiple SKUs.
People are doing frame grab analysis now.
From the exploded views?
Yeah. So it does have HDMI in, so that's probably how your cable is getting in there.
Okay. What we heard there is that sports are as much about your head as your feet or your hands. We've built new technology that allows players in the game to make decisions with 4 times
about my legs or my torso
per second.
About my
have
hair.
a greater field of vision and the ability to make smart decisions with awareness, anticipation, and context. This advanced processing power creates human-like intelligence. We heard that beating your opponent is about inches and angles. That's why we're delivering 10 times
This is a bunch of nonsense,
more
right?
animation
Like this is like a complete horse shit that
This
has
is
no
what
value.
fidelity powers how players
We
will
don't have
play,
games. This is a complete fucking waste of time.
how they will
It's
win,
gonna
which
do
player
awesome
motion.
stuff with sports, you guys.
Yeah, it's really
We
interesting
also
choice to put
heard
the
that
EA
athletes
Sports
are
stuff
fueled
as
by
the
the
first
roar
thing
of
you're
the
going to show for
crowd.
the new system.
This is
and not show anything.
I think this is more of a broader
Dynamic sidelines, and on Xbox Live,
sense of
a
EA
daily
aligning
stream
themselves.
of new
Microsoft was
content
something I'd been
that
hearing behind
impacts
the
the
scenes
game
leading up to this
as
that
you
will
play.
come forth in other
We're
announcements that we'll hear
inspired
about
by the
in the coming
revolutionary
months.
Xbox One,
I think this
and
is
we know
maybe them
gamers will be
saying,
too.
get up there and do
We
your
have
thing, be
much,
part of our
much
big
more to reveal
reveal.
from across
Even if you
EA
don't have a
very
lot.
This is
soon,
crazy though because
including
Sony's presentation was twice the length of this, and it was still more dense with information than
in the
this.
most popular sports game
Like
in
they only
the
have an
world,
hour, and there's so
Ultimate
much
Team
kind
in
of
FIFA
just
14.
fluff filler going on.
Yeah. But also keep in mind that Microsoft has E3 to do more stuff with pretty quickly.
Although, and to be fair, they did come out and show the system and get down to brass tacks on that stuff.
Yeah. And they touched on like kind of quickly. They didn't go into the same depth, but they said, yeah, you can post gameplay clips from the games you're playing on this system as well.
They said this here. They said that here.
Hey, here you go.
All right.
Or is it? You don't know.
We don't know.
No.
We probably won't be clear about it.
No, I bet not. Nah.
Yeah, Xbox, Star Trek.
That doesn't look good enough for CG. Those are, I bet those are the games.
Look at those reflections.
I mean, I bet this is a PC.
Or it's CG, right? Or it's CG that is like kind of a target render for what the game is going to look like, at least.
Or you'll never play the game from any of these angles.
Well, no, of course not.
It's like the car game demo.
Yeah, of course. It's not like.
I would love to do a side-by-side with this and EA's first Madden 360 trailers.
That the snow one?
Yeah.
It's kind of cartoony.
Sports! Sports are number one! EA Sports. Xbox is number one.
I hope Madden looks like that. That looked nice. Hard to really say from that trailer.
Please welcome
Lukewarm crowd
Phil
response.
Spencer.
No Spence. I was hoping to be Phil Harrison.
Hey, Ian, would you mind doing me a favor and just get an update on the chat for us?
We've joined forces with the industry's premier publishers to bring exclusives, to bring content first to Xbox.
Diving deep on that
and to
V-neck
make
there,
our
Phil.
platform the best place to create. This is a commitment unlike any previous generation. I believe the groundbreaking technology at the heart of Xbox One will broaden the landscape and canvas for the storyteller. and enhance the experience for the gamer, making games more immersive, more personal, and more connected than ever before. As the head of Microsoft Studios, I oversee the work of talented creative teams around the globe. These teams are hard at work right now using all the power of Xbox One to build original content and break new ground in game creation and gameplay, to amaze you and your friends and your family, and to showcase the unique capabilities of our platform. That means all of you Xbox fans will get more new, innovative games than ever before.
All right, you're at the legal limit of talking about groundbreaking and innovation without actually fucking showing something here, Microsoft.
Let's take a look at one of those blockbuster exclusive franchises now. A franchise that has embodied innovation, quality, and visual excellence. This
Dynasty
Forza
Warriors.
Motorsport 5 running on Xbox One.
All right, here's your next-gen car game.
Yeah, show your car demo.
All right. Next-gen cars.
Man, Microsoft hitting the numbers.
Yeah. Sports, cars, CBS properties, everything you need for a successful video game hardware launch.
So they have not said explicitly like this is running real time.
He just said that. He just said here's Forza 5 running on Xbox One.
Right, but he did not say this is all in-game footage. Or
I mean, I think that's what that means, right?
No, I don't think so.
Running on, I think it's pretty clear.
I don't think that's actionable.
Either way, there is not a guy out there with a controller.
I agree with Brad. I think the implication here is they did not explicitly say, and this is all running in real time.
I would expect them to say in-game footage.
I think you're arguing over semantics.
Yeah.
Well, it's a question of what can the system do.
I mean,
That's what everybody wants to know.
If they really wanted to make it clear, then I have someone else with a controller running through a demo.
Those look like cars.
Yeah. So that's kind of my problem with showing car games on your new hardware. They look like cars.
Turn 10 Studios have taken the very best of Xbox One to redefine what we can expect from a next-generation racing game. Forza Motorsport 5 will
What are the
be
bad parts of
available
Xbox
at
One?
launch, and we can't
If
wait
they only
to
took
show
the very
you more
best,
at
you should
E3.
probably get rid of that other shit.
Tell Jeff to ask that question.
For many of us, the thrill of gaming is defined by those first ever game experiences. The first time you earned an achievement. The first time you took your Xbox to a friend's house to play multiplayer in Halo. The first time you painted your car in Forza and traded it online.
The first time your Xbox Red rings.
I've seen how developers are using the magic of the platform
first
to
time.
deliver new
That's right, that was a
first-ever
first.
experiences.
Because there were multiple after
Cloud-powered
that.
games that change based on the actions of the community. Multiplayer, multi-device gameplay tailored to the unique capabilities of your device. Visuals so real, you'll see the imperfections and effects of time, weather, and wear and tear on the world around you. Let me share
Jeff
a
thinks
glimpse
this is Remedy.
of the future of gaming from a studio that invented the hallmark gameplay technique, bullet time,
Yep.
and garnered numerous Game of the Year awards.
Oh, well, he's a
with
few
Max
seconds ahead of us, I
Payne
guess.
And Alan Wake. Remedy are world-class storytellers.
Next-gen
They have
Alan Wake.
created a revolutionary entertainment experience that weaves a cinematic action of intense gameplay with the tension and drama of scripted television, creating a world where each has a direct impact on the other.
I'd be
The
happy
actions
with
you take
what?
and the choices you make
Property
shape
from
your
Remedy.
experience as the story unfolds. This is Quantum Break.
Wait, so he made it sound
See,
like there's an actual.
This looks pretty good.
Peyton, I do.
Okay, sweetheart, let's pack it in.
He made it sound like there's an actual show attached to this.
What is it that makes you so different?
Are you sure you want to know?
Whoa. Sinister looking little kid.
I'm getting a little uncanny valley from this.
All these drug references.
Ignite.
Mysterious.
Where's David? This is that Nick Cage movie, right? Where you can see 20 seconds ahead into the future or something?
To jumpstart this new generation of development, Microsoft Studios is investing more than ever in studios around the world to create new and original IP for
No,
Xbox
that's not the one he
One.
likes. That's the one he hates.
In fact, we have more
Knowing is
titles
the one
in
he
development
likes.
now than at any other time in Xbox history. I'm proud to announce that Microsoft Studios plans to release more than 15 exclusive games in the first year of Xbox One, 8 of which are brand new franchises.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
We should explain a little bit more what's going on with that Quantum Break.
That is
We
a lot of
believe that
games
the television screen
out of a first
remains
party
the
in
most
1 year.
relevant, most important screen in the
for
home.
Remedy,
and Xbox
smart
One
to trade
will
on
make your
mystery.
games and TV come to life in ways that haven't been possible
I meant more
until
the
now.
real time, the TV
To
stuff.
tell us more about our mission to transform television, please welcome the head of Xbox Entertainment Studios, Nancy Tellum.
Tell him, Nancy.
How many times do you think she's heard that damn joke?
Thank you, Phil. It's really a thrill to be here. During my years at CBS and Warner
Kudos, they got
Brothers,
a- they
I
got
was
a woman on
fortunate
stage.
to work with some of the best
No
creative
sarcasm in
talent
that.
in
Oh,
entertainment.
yeah. A woman on
Among
stage.
our many
That's
achievements was
important.
the
Points to
CSI
Microsoft
franchise
over,
and
Sony.
Survivor. Television shows that offer proof that innovation is about breaking the rules and betting on the power of invention. Today, we stand at the threshold of another great era of groundbreaking television. Xbox is expanding the canvas and conceiving a whole new art form for the creator, for the viewer,
Majestic 2.
for the community, and the industry. Until now, the television viewing experience has been a one-way street for the viewer.
It's been some real
But
bullshit.
now that's about to change. TV on Xbox will immerse you, enabling you to virtually jump into the action whenever you desire. For the first time ever, TV will be
I desire
truly
now!
personalized to your tastes and your needs, providing recommendations with amazing precision. And only on Xbox will TV become social in ways unknown to us today, driven and shaped by the community of tens of millions on Xbox Live. Xbox is about to become the next water cooler. And this is only Act One. At this very moment, our talented teams in Los Angeles, Seattle, Vancouver, and London are using the magic and science of Xbox to rethink dramas, comedies, competition shows, sports, live events, and digital shorts. And one of our first and most important projects starts close to home. Halo, one of the foundations on which Xbox was built, has been played for billions of hours by tens of millions of fans. Please welcome my friend and head of 343 Industries,
Master
Bonnie
Chief.
Ross.
David Ellis.
Back to back.
Wow, we really ascended quickly over there.
Thank you,
So
Nancy.
Microsoft is its own studio
For
now?
me, Halo
Yeah,
has
that's a big
always
part of their
been more
LA
than a
initiative.
game. It's an amazing experience that takes place in a rich and deeply connected sci-fi universe. A universe in which we can tell hundreds of stories. We tell these stories through our games, our novels, and most recently, our award-winning web series, Forward Unto Dawn. At 343, we put a lot of thought into how we want to evolve storytelling on Xbox
Wait, it's
One.
kind of weirding me out.
Hands.
As a huge
Stop.
fan
You don't know what to do
of
with her.
television
She's
shows
really
like
cool. She
Breaking
gave us a
Bad,
343
Band
tour
of
when I went up
Brothers,
there.
and my personal favorite, Game of Thrones.
Seems new to the teleprompter.
It's been inspiring to see television
Teleprompters are
become a
tough.
medium
You don't know what to do with
to
your
bring
hands.
the scope and scale of ever more ambitious worlds and adventures to life. I'm excited by the potential of merging the storytelling magic of television with the interactive innovation of Xbox One. So, today, along with Nancy, I'm thrilled to announce a live-action Halo television series, created in partnership with 343 Industries and one of the best storytellers of all time, Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Nancy. And congratulations to the entire team on the tremendous work going into the future of Xbox.
Steve, turn down your radio, please.
I wish I could be there with you today in person, but like all of you here today, I've been playing games for decades. And I even started playing Pong in 1974. And over the years, that experience has exploded from the simple pixels of Pong to worlds that are as immersive as, and certainly more physically interactive, than those portrayed on the silver screen. And those stories have gotten more compelling as the technology has certainly improved. And so for me, the Halo universe is an amazing opportunity to be at that intersection where technology and myth-making meet to produce something really groundbreaking. And I'm incredibly excited about the great journey we're all on, the heroes, worlds, and wonders that Halo will take us on.
Peter Jackson was the first dude.
He was producing the Halo movie.
We are really excited to bring the world of Halo to Xbox as a premium television series. Thanks, Bonnie.
That's pretty interesting.
Now, before I leave, there's one more piece of news that I'd like to share. For years now, the leading edge of interactive TV on Xbox has been live sports. We've invented new ways for fans around the world to enjoy the games and teams they love. So we're determined to deliver even more innovation to make Xbox your home for sports. It's my honor to introduce a game-changing partnership with the most popular league in the United States. This alliance will not only change the fans' viewing experience, but transform the sport itself.
This is, Sony's had this for the last 2 years. So if they're going to get Sunday
We've always
ticket.
innovated on the field by trying to make our game more exciting, to make the experience better for our fans.
Premium
home,
Sunday ticket, it gets you access to all the games. The games are on market.
More technology.
It's like the thing the cable providers.
So you need DirecTV specifically, and Sony and DirecTV is partnered to get that. And that's what I've been buying on the last couple
We're continuing is that a flying camera robot on the field?
Yeah, to bring new features, new functionality to people.
It's on a set of X and Y axis.
They're not using camera drones yet.
How will this experience be better on the Xbox for NFL fans?
But it's
with Xbox, we're going to have
what do they do?
exclusive
Do they
content
redo the play or something?
we will use with Smart Glass, with Kinect, with some of the innovations our creative teams are doing to bring fantasy football to life. To be able to interact
the NFL
with
is bringing as much technology as possible
using all
to
devices in your living room
as you're showing off that sport.
With your friends.
No joke,
So it's going to be a really rich palette for us
being able to watch
So it's going to be easier
Sunday
to play
ticket, watch
fantasy
football
football
games,
with
have my
the device
fantasy league
and a
up at
better
the same time on the same
Imagine
screen.
your NFL
that sounds
team
fucking awesome.
integrated with your large
people that are
screen
engaged in
TV.
that, which
This is going to be the first time with our partnership.
I mean, I have no connection to it, but I am firmly aware of how popular and how fervent the fantasy football crowd is.
Because you just sit there refreshing the crappy apps on your phones and iPads on your browser.
Make a Skype
If that just updates in real time while switching games,
the success you're enjoying.
I want to say right now, feeling the look of the Xbox.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't love the two-tone
the stadium
kind of color treatment, but
very
industrial.
That's what
the design is fine, like the gray-black
we look for the
split
best.
looks a little weird.
And from a technology standpoint, Xbox, Microsoft.
It's like brushed
there's
on
no
one side
better.
and gloss
Now
on the other.
fans Are going to be able to experience football in a way they've never experienced it before.
I don't mind
You're
it.
gonna
It's not
change the
too
game
high
of football
contrast.
in a way
Yeah, I
that
guess
it's
not.
just going to be so dramatic and help us.
Like it's not
really
just like
make
straight
the
up
game
domino or
carry
anything.
into
Sure.
the next century.
Well, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Guys, the most excited I've been out of this entire and that's not even condescending. I'm actually get excited.
They definitely have
redefine
identified
NFL
some
experiences
target
for the
markets that they're going to go
fans
after
through
hard.
exclusive and interactive content
Guy in
that
Australia
you'll find
tweeted me
only
saying that his
on
Facebook
Xbox.
feed exploded when they
It'll
said
also
FIFA,
change
and
the
it was
game
just
for
a bunch
coaches
of
and
people
players
going, I'm sticking
through
with Xbox.
Microsoft technology on the sideline. The NFL on Xbox, just one more reason Xbox One is a must-have system for your living room.
Unless we missed it, they didn't say Sunday ticket though. So
we have an
may just be the
ambitious
games on
vision
CBS.
for Xbox One. to become the all-in-one.
All right, Don, you got
system
9
for
minutes left.
every living room.
Wow me.
The one system you're going to use and love every single day.
Make it
The
count.
place where your games, TV, and entertainment come alive. Today, you've seen how we're transforming TV experiences.
You will care for this more than your own
We've shared
children.
the magic and science behind our system.
Connect to watch them.
And you've tasted a
Second
new
time they've said
generation
magic
of
and
games
science.
powered by Xbox One. We've welcomed Steven Spielberg to the Halo universe with the Halo TV series and celebrated an historic partnership with the NFL.
I don't know what happened, but I feel like over the course of this...
I'm pleased to announce that we'll be launching Xbox One around the world later this year.
Oh my God.
Rope-a-dope. I was just about to say.
Oh, ballsy.
I felt like Don Matrick over the course of this presentation got his Matrick back.
But this is just
like,
the beginning.
He's
Yeah.
swaggering
Can't wait
around
to
the
share
stage
next
a lot
chapter
more
of
than
our
he was at
story
the start.
in a couple of weeks at E3. There, you'll be seeing an incredible lineup of blockbuster games, including many
Oh,
exclusives
they still got Call of
that you'll
Duty to
find
go.
only
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Xbox
I forgot
One.
about that.
As we set our sights to the future, I'd like to leave you today by presenting a world premiere from one of gaming's great franchises. They helped define excellence on
Cameo.
Xbox 360. They found their
That was
home
rare, man.
with our Xbox Live community, and they are the #1 series in games today and one of the biggest franchises in entertainment history.
Persona.
And just like on Xbox 360, all downloadable content for Call of Duty will launch exclusively first on
That's big.
Xbox One.
Keeping that one locked down.
That means really big.
Especially with a, you know,
Please welcome
a launch day
Activision
Call of
Publishing
Duty game.
CEO Eric Hirschberg.
I wonder how many people trade up. People who care about Call of Duty, I wonder how many trade up to this if they can also get it on
Thank you, Don. It's great to
360.
be here.
Enough.
Yes,
This is a huge
And also,
day,
at
not
least
just
they
for
stay on
gaming, but
Xbox.
for all of
Sure.
entertainment. Now, just to be clear, I am the last human speed bump standing between you and seeing the world premiere of the next generation of Call of Duty up on that screen in a
What's in
couple of
your
minutes.
pocket?
So knowing my audience as I do, I'm going to try to get to it as fast as possible.
Well, you could have just
I
skipped
think
that
everyone
whole
was
fucking
expecting us to play
bit
it safe
there,
this year
Hirschberg.
and simply make Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. But we didn't want to do the safe thing. We wanted to do the right thing. And that meant eliminating
So we're not
as
putting
many
out any more
creative
Call of
restrictions
Duty
as
games.
possible so that our developers could create an entirely new Call of Duty for the next generation. And that's exactly what we're going to deliver with Call of Duty Ghosts. An entirely new world, an entirely new narrative, an entirely new cast of characters, all built on our new next-gen Call of Duty engine. Call of Duty set the gold standard for first-person action in the current gen, and make no mistake, we're going to do it again with Call of Duty Ghosts for the next gen. We've had a camera crew inside our iconic studio, Infinity Ward, capturing the creative process as the vision for this game is unfolded. And we wanted you to be the first to go behind the scenes and take a look at what they've been up to.
And this footage is running on an Xbox One.
Here at Infinity Ward, we've had a great time crafting the benchmark of the modern day shooter on current gen. And we're really excited that we get to be the studio that brings Call of Duty into the next generation. We have a whole new story with brand new characters, completely new world, and this is powered by a new next gen
Earth,
engine
right?
that gives us amazing graphic fidelity and really innovative new ways to play the game. So what we wanted
bring
to do
back
was
that
create
popular
a cast
TV
of
series.
characters that you really felt more emotionally attached to. We had the
Think they're gonna
opportunity
get
to work
Rebecca
with
Gayheart?
Stephen Gaghan.
They gotta stop
This is the
showing
guy
these
that won an
wireframes.
Oscar for writing Traffic. He wrote and directed Syriana.
What they really wanted in this game, in Call of Duty Ghosts, is they wanted emotional
Gahan, huh?
reality. You know, they wanted these characters to feel real, to feel like real people.
So the story opens up with a mass event. America is crippled. Our military forces are devastated. Our government's in disarray. And as the player, you are actually the underdog, fighting back against these superior forces. So the team you're a part of is formed from the remnants of all the U.S. Special Forces.
Ghosts are a super elite fighting force, to like the Spartans, all the way through SEAL Team 6. They've adopted every technique that's useful for modern, urban, guerrilla-style fighting.
One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog. We've had dogs in Call of Duty before, but
Hashtag
never
dog.
like this.
Dogs
This
are
is someone
fascinating,
you-
I agree.
This
Look at
is
that
a squad member.
Oh,
He does everything
dog
from
mocap!
sniffing out
Oh my
explosives
God.
to protecting the team. So with this next Call of Duty,
I didn't think I could care about Call of Duty again. I was wrong.
Mocap dogs.
That dog.
You didn't even know that was the thing you needed.
Dog armor.
That suited up dog looks so happy.
Characters and weapons has never been seen before in Call of Duty. We have
Missing
an attack
this.
in the game, sub-D.
Now we know,
The
you know,
idea is
what
the closer
system,
you get to it, the more it tries to maintain
Matt's
the
gonna be
curvature
aligned with.
that you see. This is very helpful on weapons,
Dogs,
helmets for
only on
characters. That
Xbox
makes a huge
One.
difference for visual fidelity of what the player sees from a distance as well as close up.
With a new next-gen console, this is an opportune time for us to reinvent the experience that we deliver. It's important to keep our core philosophies about gameplay drives tech.
So when I think about the animation features that we've been working on for Call of Duty Ghosts, one of the first things that come to mind is immersion. We have a new mantle system so that when you're running quickly and you hit a wall, you get
How
this
many
nice boom,
temples
you hit it, and
are
you lean
being
and you go,
massaged
and you maintain
at
your momentum.
Nintendo
We have the
over
lean
the course
feature
of
that
this
allows you to lean out
whole
and
thing?
lean in and you get a better view of the battlefield. So another feature that we're working on with animation is the slide. It allows you to get somewhere quickly, get out of the line of fire.
I mean,
and at the
I
same
feel
time, do
like
it in a
with
really
their
cool
little
looking way.
We've
multitasking.
added fluid dynamics, interactive
Fluid
smoke,
dynamics?
and also added an
Fluid.
AI system to it. So we have fish move out of the way when you get close to them.
The poly counts,
Skyfish.
the texture increases, the shaders, the lighting, tech, the level should feel like you're really there.
Wanna see
And
mocap
all the
fish?
technology that's going into it allows you
Fish
to
cap.
achieve those goals.
That wait till you
With this being an all-new
hard
Call
would
of
it
Duty,
be
we've really taken this
try and
opportunity
glue
to
the little
revamp
ping pong
multiplayer.
balls
One
onto
of
a
these
fish?
new MP features that I'm most excited about is dynamic maps. We have everything from big earthquakes and floods down to player-driven actions, doors, explosive traps, things that change the flow of
Logs.
the map.
No! Logs
This creates a
exclusively
new
on
dynamic
Xbox
experience
One.
for the player. Another new feature is character customization. You can choose the head,
Stream
you can choose the
buffering,
body,
only
you can choose
on
the helmet
Xbox
and gear
One.
that you're wearing.
Can I choose the gear
You
for
can
my dog?
connect with who you are as a player more so than we've ever done in the past. Dynamic
They'll be
maps
offering
and character
bandanas as
customization are just
DLC
two of the new
for your
innovations
dog.
that we're
Sign
bringing
me
into
up.
next-gen multiplayer.
And of course,
We
you
have
know,
the best
default
fans
will be
in
a
the
German
world,
Shepherd,
and we're
but
committed to creating for them a new
you can go like
next-generation
Labradoodle.
Call of Duty experience. One of the key reasons Call of Duty has been as successful as it is
Corgi.
we focus on gameplay. It's the thing we designed for. It's the thing that drives our success
That
as
old
a franchise.
IntelliMouse.
And with all of the new tech, all of the new stories,
Yes.
everything that we're
Oh,
putting
you
into
see
this
that dog?
next generation Call of Duty, we are still
The dog is
60
barking.
frames a second, low latency controls, a great feeling game.
That was the best part of this whole thing, and it was Call of Duty, and I've been off of Call of Duty for years.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that says.
But was it the game part or was it the
This
dog
will
part?
be the most beautiful Call of Duty game we've ever made. It will also be the most character-driven and emotionally engaging Call of Duty game we've ever made. And it will be the best Call of Duty game we've ever made. A stunning leap forward, not just for this franchise, but also for console gaming. To show you what I mean, we've put together a little comparison video that shows you what's possible on the next gen and put side by side the differences between what we're going to be delivering in Call of Duty Ghosts and what was in Infinity Ward's last game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which was state-of-the-art just a very short time ago. And when you look at the differences side by side, it's actually pretty stunning.
This guy looks fucking sharp. I like what he's wearing.
This sequence shows one of Modern Warfare 3's main characters,
He's put together.
Price. While this asset pushed the limits of what was capable at the time, the technology employed by the new engine allows us to take the visual fidelity of our models to a whole new level.
Dead eyes.
Yeah, as I say, he still looks
This
like a
next
computer
generation
man.
head is modeled with multiple features represented: sub-D, high-resolution textures, subsurface skin shaders, multiple lights, and self-casting shadows. Here, you can see the dog model from Modern Warfare 3.
The terrifying dog.
Look
how happy he is.
Scans of an actual SEAL team
He's psyched to have all these new polygons.
Every detail is replicated,
Aww.
right down to the scars on the nose and the tattoo inside the ear. When playing first-person
It's not a real
action
dog.
games,
Okay.
your character's arms
The
are one of
scars
most
were made by
looked at
some
visual
artist
elements. The
Santa
arms
Monica.
in MW3 were beautiful
Oh, no.
at the time,
got
but
no
the
body.
new engine allows for significantly increased texture resolution. This advancement in technology allows us to convey fine hairs,
Arm hair shaders.
bruising,
Yeah.
cuts,
This is a weird thing to end on.
Yep.
and even
Yeah.
dirt.
Talk
Look
about
how
well,
Well,
gross
that's
this could
probably
be.
we don't have actual
Here's an
gameplay
example of
to
a jungle
show, right?
environment from Modern Warfare 3.
I have a feeling that if Microsoft wanted to
Now,
show a bunch of
here's a
games
jungle
during this
environment
thing,
from Ghosts. This scene employs many
They could probably
detailed
get,
features, including volumetric
you know,
lighting,
not
boosted poly count,
huge,
and
lengthy
self-casting
demos.
shadows.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows how hot?
I mean, they better.
Well, I don't know. Who knows how hot this thing is coming in?
It's more just when you have to show side-by-side models to make yourself impressed.
You've
That's
seen
the
the vision
difference.
for the
I just
game,
don't.
and you've seen the technology.
Every console launches
the
like
ideas
that.
that we're bringing to Call of Duty Ghosts.
Well, it's either that
Inside
or it's
campaign,
the
new
overpromise.
characters, new story,
Maybe,
new
yeah.
narrative.
It's either
and
like,
inside
here's
multiplayer
what this stuff
dynamic
actually looks like,
character
or
customization, and there are
just
a lot more new
you know,
ideas to
look
come.
We're gonna blow your mind out your ass.
Look at the leap from Perfect Dark Zero to Gears of War, and that was only 12 months. Like it's a huge difference.
But now it's time to see it all come together. The gameplay you're about to see
Oh,
is
all
running
right.
in engine
There
on
you
the
go.
new
Well, they're running
Xbox
over
hardware.
time then.
This is the new
Bad news
generation
on
of Call
TV.
of Duty on the new generation of Xbox. This is the world premiere of Call of Duty
All right,
Ghosts.
here's a video game being played.
And he said specifically in engine.
Excellent.
Yep.
I'm with him.
It's just running on an Xbox.
Wait a minute.
One.
It's been 10 years. You start to forget.
Emergence Day.
That's right. This is the moment when Call of Duty and Gears of War become the same franchise. Gears of Duty.
Can't stop remembering. The things you should forget.
Sugar chun chun chun.
We've always had the power. Not anymore. All we have is each other. We're ghosts, fighting for something that can't be killed. Soldiers stand against their enemies.
Well, then who is the Pac-Man in this scenario?
The ghosts haunt them.
Ooh, I'm surprised they can show that on TV.
There's no blood. Look at the dog.
It's a good-looking dog.
Then Metal Gear Rex.
Sure, you got me. I'd watch that movie. Like, it looked like a totally
action-packed
awesome
summer
action
blockbuster.
movie. Yeah. Wow, that's it.
And
thank you.
We got neither. So
wait a minute. 19 days.
Yeah, it's
Oh
19
my
days
god.
till E3.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's right around the corner.
Oh my god.
You need to go.
When he, I have to go. Yeah, when he said it's right around the corner. All right,
He wasn't
Ian,
kidding.
let's. I think that's that.
Oh
for
wow,
the,
so they're not even going to say
the
thank you
feed,
for
no.
joining us.
That's what I'm saying. We
kind of a downer.
we got to push on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like this
Maybe
spare haunting piano
Yeah.
track over.
They did run over time. Like this was televised.
Yeah. Sure.
And
So maybe there was plans for Jay Allard to come out. And,
Sorry, Jay.
He's gone.
Oh.
He's out.
Well, he was there.
Yeah,
Well, that was not there, but he was on that
right,
that
but
intro
he's-
video.
Yeah, I don't think that means he's back at the company or anything.
Let's see what's happening.
Who are trending topics?
Oh well, I
Matrick.
screenshotted when Don Matrick was the #1 trending topic in the world.
All right, so gents, Xbox One. Thoughts on the name and I guess on what we've had revealed to us here today.
I don't think they properly explained the philosophy behind the name.
I mean, I got from the thing they kept talking about of like this is going to be the center, the hub,
the fusion.
Like
I guarantee that was the thought process. Was this
sounds
is
a lot like Wii U.
This is
the
the one
one
device
thing that you need.
This
Yeah,
is your
exactly.
one entertainment device. Yep.
Like they did touch on similarly as the Wii U of like all your shit's going to plug into it and interface through this thing. But again, not talking about the specifics of how that is going to function, like what that what all that TV stuff actually means. Because I mean, to me, all of the TV stuff that they showed was just a complete echo of when, for the 360, they were talking about all of the DVR, ITV stuff that they were was going to be a big push for the 360. That kind of happened in Europe some, and I think there was a couple regions.
A lot of CES presentations about it.
Exactly, yeah, but kind of never.
They had problems negotiating with the content providers.
Yeah, never really coming to fruition with that stuff. So, like, to me, this seems like a similar pitch, but the state of things is a little bit different. And if they are if there is in fact an HDMI in on the back of that thing, and so it's just go out of your cable box into this thing.
Yeah, but which cable box? That's the other thing is that even if it does work that way, there's still just a ton of caveats of is this supported? Does your provider have a deal with them? Just all sorts of stuff that's.
Well, they did say Comcast, right?
That was his. He was like, "Oh, I have Comcast up here," so.
I don't think they would reference any brand unless, I mean, obviously Comcast will probably be included in that.
Sure.
I think it's a little bit different than IPTV because if it is just an HDMI in, it's that can go on. Speaking a little bit out of my own ass here, but I imagine that helps sidestep some of the negotiation problems they were having with IPTV because that is like a completely separate negotiation with content distribution, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I guess they'll still have to negotiate with individual providers, but at least you just take the feed out of your box.
Right. Best thing is you are still going to be. You would in that theoretical scenario, you would still be going through your cable box. You're still going to need that cable box there,
right?
With a HDMI.
Yeah, Wired actually just posted the first real photo of the back of the system.
Oh yeah, so we got two HDMI ports.
Well, one of them is an in and the other is an out.
Right. But I mean, just like two of those that size, couple of those.
It's a little bit weirdly USB industrial looking, in a kind of a rough way.
Oh wow, Wired's already got a huge.
Oh wow, yeah, just all right. Oh, they must have put out assets. I should check.
They have a big write-up. I think this was a.
Do you think they got pre-briefed on this stuff?
Scroll right, Benny. This is a huge article.
I should check. check my.
This is just the photo gallery.
I should check my email, but I wonder if they got.
Wait, I don't know.
I wonder if they put out all these assets or not.
These are weird.
So rough prototypes of a lot of stuff here. Showing some more Kinect stuff, more controller mock-ups and prototypes.
Oh, look at that prototype showed the guide button being right in the center again.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's. I mean, those are a bunch of different prototypes there.
Yeah, they did not send us this stuff. This must have been.
This looks like just a.
Did you go to Press.dot?
It might just. Well, they would have emailed it out if they put it on.
I got an email in German this morning saying
Achtung. Jeez.
Yeah. This is probably a cover story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they got pre-briefed on this.
Thoughts on the name Xbox One. I feel like
not my favorite, but
I feel like it's just that much closer to us just getting back to calling it the Xbox.
That's probably that's what I see myself saying.
I mean, I think it's interesting that, and I'll be curious to see if this changes between now and E3 or between I guess E3 and launch. But using all of the same font treatments, logo treatments for Xbox, all that stuff is unchanged from 360 to this. Whereas going from the Xbox One, the original Xbox, to the 360, they made a lot more.
Forget that other one. Forget that other box. We're moving on. Whereas this, they want everyone to come over.
So no mic, no mention of mic on controller, which with
this says here it's a new connector for voice chat and other accessories. Can power 5.1 headset without amplifiers. It doesn't look quite like USB, but it looks.
No, it looks.
USB. You think it's proprietary?
Proprietary.
It's custom to me.
So that's cool.
But again, as we discussed before the stream started, go back to that one.
Still a replaceable battery, so get ready to buy more battery packs.
They were talking about integrated battery pack. I assumed that meant we're going back or we're going to Sony style of.
No. I think they were just saying it's recessed or it's
no,
flush.
I mean that looks cleaner. It doesn't have
flush.
the
You're
weird
right.
bump.
It doesn't jet out in the back. That thing looks so wide. I wonder how many batteries this thing takes.
I'm not
looks like it could maybe
sold on these shoulder buttons.
Yeah, they look a little weird.
I wonder if they'll be springy.
Yeah,
not only that, they said that you can program force feedback resistance into the triggers themselves.
Look at that thing.
Is there a profile shot of that? Because it does look like. What is up with that stand? Is it super weighted?
I think it goes over the lip of the TV.
That's what I was saying. That the mic looks like it hangs down.
Yeah, it looks like it hangs down over the bezel.
But it looks like it's standing flat right there.
I bet it's detachable.
Either that or it's weighted really heavily in the front.
I think that's standing up. I think that there's something supporting it in the back that we're just not
Maybe
able
we
to see
can't
from
see.
those angles.
Oh, there's that. That's the back shot.
Yeah, keep this up for a second.
What is this? Is this the Kinect?
I bet that's the Kinect.
That's new Kinect. You can see this little icon there. So HDMI in, HDMI
Optical.
out, optical headphone jack over there on the right.
I'm not sure. I can't read what that says.
IR?
It says something out. IR out.
IR.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
IR.
I bet there's an IR sensor for remotes.
Like remotes, so you can control your
for cable box
from it?
remotes.
Oh, yeah.
That would be my guess.
Check this out. Power. So you think gigantic power brick again?
Yeah, yeah, it'll have to.
Yep.
Because this is a pretty big box already.
It is.
But also, I mean, for all those ports that are on there, go back to that again, Vinny. Just one more look here. I mean, there's a bunch of ports there, but there's not a ton of horizontal space that's not being used for ports there. Like,
what do you mean? Oh, this is.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to picture like the actual width of this box.
Well, I don't think that box ends here. I think that's probably just this part.
Oh, you don't think that's the whole back?
Oh,
No.
Don Matrick apparently. Well, sorry, this is a random derail.
Trying to get a shot of
Matrick is on Spike right now and just said there is no always online.
Okay.
Or I guess that means DRM, right?
I mean, there's the Ars Technica article from a week or two back, sort of with an internal memo explaining that was.
So
probably
was
not
that
the case.
So I'm thinking this
Good to hear
is
him
just
say it.
half the box here. I bet it's just like this side or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Because look at the width of the CD or
I mean, you got
Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, Blu-ray drive.
Oh shit! I guess
Blu-ray drive.
Major Nelson is doing a.
Is there a USB on the top of it?
I don't think that's the top. I think that's the side. Yeah, because you see on those are the feet down there.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
So-
the drive.
USB on the side. I wonder if you can attach an external hard drive.
It said USB 3, right?
Yep, it said USB 3, and it looked like on that Wired story that it was 2.5-inch hard drive.
Hey Vinny, can you go to MajorNelson.com? They're streaming a panel right now on the hardware. Go down. Right there.
Hit it.
Hit
it.
Hit. Hit. Internet.
Learning a bunch about the hardware.
Come on.
Internet.
Oh wait, hang on a second.
Has it not started yet?
I think it's really interesting, and I think it speaks volumes to how much things have changed. That the inclusion of a Blu-ray drive, which at one point would have been a crazy upset, is just like, hey, I got a Blu-ray drive. It's like, oh, okay, sure.
I mean, I think if they had their choice, there just wouldn't be a drive at all. But
Right.
we're not there yet.
Here's what this is telling me about the press conference I just saw. All this stuff here in this Wired article is more interesting than that entire press conference. Like the details about like this jack on the bottom, the outputs and inputs on the back of the machine. That press conference.
Well,
for
it
me-
helped, like the input stuff, like helps a lot of what was in the press conference make some sense.
So this Twitch thing starts in 45 minutes. This hardware panel, I think we should totally watch that because it sounds like this will fill in all the stuff that we wished had been in this in the hour-long thing.
So like that whole press conference for me, just personally for me, not for this industry, was like irrelevant. Like I don't have cable anymore. I cut my
same
cable,
here.
so I'm not gonna watch TV through.
It's like those all sound like cool features in theory that I'm not sure either of us will actually use.
Right. I'm probably not going to use search or anything like that on my Xbox One.
Yeah, and I got to hop up real quick. Sorry.
And the Kinect stuff, like I said at the beginning, like I'm such a pessimist when it comes to that because of the original Kinect. Like,
Right. I think you're not a unique case for that. I do think Microsoft still needs to make a lot of effort to reassure people on Kinect, on its ability to work in spaces that it hasn't before.
Right, like small spaces, backlit spaces.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the voice stuff was some of the best stuff on Kinect, so I will give them that.
Yeah.
But I'm just not a huge Kinect fan or motion control fan.
I mean, if you, I have a huge living room that can actually use Kinect, but I also have kind of a non-standard setup, like it's big horseshoe couch and kind of table lengthwise in the middle of it. It does not look like your ideal Kinect setup. So even then, it works kind of funky. So even in a situation where I have good lighting, lots of space, it's still kind of weird. So I agree that continuing to push of like Kinect is central to the whole Xbox One experience. Yeah, I think they need to. They would have been wise there to like show it working in all sorts of different, or talk to like have an engineering talking head being like, yo, we know the original Kinect was fucked up this way. Here's all this stuff that we're doing to make it work better in these situations.
Right, like we have gone back to the drawing board to
like
say,
it was good for them to say like, oh, we're gonna have so much more articulation, and we're gonna be taking in so much more data. But I think they also needed in there somewhere to say like, and we're able to make up for this margin of error that occurs in these other sort of scenarios.
We should jump on Skype. We have our man in the field.
Is he ready to go?
He wants to check in. He's getting on Skype right now.
Yeah, let's check in with Jeff Gerstmann.
From here.
Yeah, man on the scene. Up in Redmond.
I'll just.
Oh, you can't do that.
Sign into mine.
Nope.
And call him.
Here, I'll come over there.
Okay.
Ian, I gotta lose my mic.
So yeah, that stuff for me made that press conference sound like what they want a new Xbox to be, instead of what I feel like I'm going to be getting.
It's their Xbox hope chest.
Yeah, it's like it sounded like the pitch meetings they had. Everything that, like, kind of most of the stuff they said in that meeting, I feel like I've heard before at other Microsoft press conferences. Integration with TV, the Kinect stuff.
I think I completely sympathize with your reaction to that stuff, but it was very clear this press conference had a very specific pitch at certain, it's a shitty word, but quadrants. They were identifying a certain type of consumer, and they know all those consumers that feel like, hey, I wish they'd shown more games. They're going to tune in at E3. They're going to see all that stuff anyway. This was very much about getting a much wider audience interested in this device.
I was surprised by it.
Oh, jeez.
I wasn't surprised by the content of the press conference at all. All right, and we've got Jeff Gerstmann on Skype, back in the tent. Are you in the tent still, Jeff?
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm here. It's over. They're taking pictures of the hardware and stuff. They're kind of clearing out here. Let me turn this camera around so you can see. People are filing out. We got a bit of a break before that next architecture panel thing starts. So I'm pretty close to the stage over here by the box. I'm actually going to just hop up on stage here real quick and get up real close to it.
Oh, we can't see anything.
This is great.
Oh, that almost reads.
I can't get in too much closer without blocking other people's shots, so...
Yeah. All right. It looks pretty big.
Yeah, it does. It does look pretty big. I'd say the Kinect camera is probably the part that looks biggest to me. Kind of bulky.
Would you say that? How would you say that that hardware, the system itself, compares to like the original Xbox?
I'm gonna kind of walk around and get another couple of angles on it. I'm gonna say it is longer than the original Xbox 360 design, but maybe not as tall. That's what I'm going with. That's what it looks like to me from here.
Send us some spy photos.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're going to release a bunch of pictures, and they're letting people get up pretty close to it here. So
yeah, there's already a bunch of up close stuff of like the back panel and various angles on the box itself. So
yeah,
that is all over the place.
2 HDMI's on it, right?
Yeah,
walk around the back here.
Microsoft confirms pre-owned fee for Xbox One.
For games?
I'm looking it up now.
So Jeff, what's your impression hot off this big presentation of what Microsoft showed here today?
Well, they said going in there was not going to be a lot of games here, and they were not lying.
Right.
They weren't fucking around with that. So I really like the name.
Really?
Yeah. It's I like it. I think it's good.
I feel like it's just it's that much closer to us just calling it the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But then, you have a lot of good Kinect scenarios that you can just say like Xbox One, and then it'll turn off and be like, yeah, all right, and then shut off. Right? That's how this will work.
That's pretty much the entire use case scenario.
Yeah, it'll be Xbox. You already know, and then it'll be like it'll just nod. The Kinect will nod at you.
Do you get a sense, looking at the Kinect, that it has any sort of motorized base or anything? Like, we're having a hard time making sense of like how that thing is standing up.
Let me walk over here again, closer to it, and
because it looks like it's got like that microphone array at the bottom of the front. And it's hard to tell if it's like that would hang over the edge of something, or if there's like feet behind it or something.
It's got a bit of a stand that goes behind it. It doesn't look like it. It does not look like it bows to you. That doesn't look motorized to me from here.
Interesting.
They're being very adamant that no one touch this thing.
I would assume that means that it's just like wider angle camera lenses on there, so they can just capture everything without having to specify.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty safe bet.
So you like the name? Anything else that jumped out at you from the presentation, Jeff?
I think the stuff they're talking about with the controller sounds all right. I think the controller looks good. The D-pad. Hopefully we'll get a chance to touch one of those a little later and see if that thing is worth a damn or not. I think the D-pad looks all right.
You don't know for certain if you're going to get a chance to go hands-on with the controller itself?
I don't know. They've been pretty vague about some of that stuff, so it's kind of hard to know.
Have you seen it in person, and how does the size compare to the current one?
I mean, there's one right over here with the rest of this stuff. I mean, I'm like staring at one right now, so like literally right now, I'm looking at one.
Well, then tell us about it. Is it significantly bigger than the current one?
It doesn't look. No, it looks pretty much on par, really. I mean, I think the top of it is maybe a little bulkier because they've moved the Xbox button up, and there are two buttons in kind of a start and back position still.
Right.
So they've kind of changed some of those positions that make the top of it look a little different, but I'm going to say size-wise, from this distance, and not holding it myself, looks pretty much the same.
It's a good shot.
I think that's a controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
So, yeah, I mean, the TV stuff is pretty much what we'd heard. HDMI in on the back of that thing, so hopefully that means it'll work with a lot of different providers. I say hopefully, meaning theoretically someone will want to do that. I don't know.
One of the other ports on the back there appears to be labeled IR out.
Okay,
so presumably, like being able to use remotes for your cable box on the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of newer boxes will have HDMI control for that stuff, and that'll, you can do stuff that way. That's how the Wii U works in a lot of ways. So I imagine the IR might just be for people with older set-top boxes for their TV stuff.
I mean, I don't know if you remember the original TiVo had a thing like that.
Right. What you guys think of EA Sports Ignite? Are you guys super pumped? Are you ready to get ignited?
Patrick's pretty stoked about the fantasy football stuff.
I
think that was the thing that got him most excited. Vinny was pretty excited about Call of Duty Ghosts, specifically the dogs.
Yeah, very big focus on the dog. There's a whole... So there's actually more of that I saw last week that I imagine will be what the E3 reveal is, with the whole underwater thing and all that stuff. But yeah, it looks like Call of Duty.
They mocapped a dog, Jeff!
Yeah, they did mocap a dog. You're right. So that's the next generation. It's all going to be what can we mocap, mocapped hamsters, that sort of stuff.
So Sony, when they revealed the PlayStation 4, there was this very specific vision. It seemed like they laid out for like this is what the PS4 is about.
Yeah.
I from here, I didn't really get that sort of sense of specificity from the Microsoft thing. It seemed like it was a lot of kind of talking about a lot of the same stuff that Microsoft's been talking about for a few years now.
Yeah, I think that's they are just kind of doubling down on a lot of their entertainment stuff. I think the TV stuff opens them up to more potential. But yeah, they kind of talked a lot about the whole. It was the same talk about putting you at the center of the experience and all that stuff. That's very much was the core of the 360 announcement. So that stuff didn't seem super different. But the tech is at a point now where I think that stuff actually looks like it could work, and I think that might be the difference. You know, getting TV integrated in there, for better or for worse. I mean, they're making a better case on the entertainment front. I just don't know that that's something that I care about. I already don't watch TV, so I don't need another box that I can not watch TV on.
So Jeff, what if I don't really like Kinect and I don't have cable?
Then you can still jam out and listen to music. And play FIFA.
All right. I like FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, I still wonder. I mean, I wonder if we'll find out today if that thing will work if the Kinect is not hooked up to it. They did say that every one of those is going to come with Kinect, which is the right move. And yeah, so I wonder if it'll even boot up without that thing plugged in, or if they're really going to force it on people.
Do you think that's something that'll be addressed at this hardware thing in the hour?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see how many, you know, if they're going to let questions be asked and how deep they're going to go with that stuff. If they are going to address some of that, I know Wired had a story hit Times to this that supposedly addressed some of the always online stuff. I don't know how specific it got or not, but that's supposedly in there.
Matrick just said, I guess, on TV that there is no always online.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep throwing out random headlines here. The Verge has just confirmed there is no backwards compatibility.
Right.
And there's also the way the used game stuff works is that so every game installs to the hard drive by default, and you no longer have to have the disc in, but it authenticates with your Xbox Live account. So if that disc goes into someone else's Xbox and they want to use it with their account, they have to pay a fee in order to do that.
Wait a minute.
Wait, they know by the disc, the hardware?
Yeah, it's like that. You can then if that person pays the fee, then they don't have to have the disc in either. So the disc could just be passed around to install it, and you're paying to install that disc.
So, but you can wait.
It knows that it knows how many times that disc's been installed.
If the disc is still in the system, can you play it without paying the fee?
Yes.
Okay.
So what follows naturally, this is from the Wired story. What follows naturally from this is that each disc would have to be tied to a unique Xbox Live account. Else you would take a single disc and pass it between everyone you know and copy the game over and over. Since this is clearly not going to happen, each disc must then be installed for a single owner. Microsoft did say that if a disc was used with a second account, that owner would be given the option to pay a fee and install the game from the disc, which would then mean that the new account would also own the game and play it without the disc. But what if a second person simply wanted to put the disc in and play the game without installing and without paying extra? In other words, what happens to our traditional concept of a used game? That is a question for which Microsoft did not yet have an answer.
Okay.
Yeah, so that sounds like that's what the always online stuff really meant. And I guess that'll be the thing, like whether or not you can actually just put a disc in and play a game. I doubt it.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we'll get some answers from this panel that's going on. It sounds like they're going to be streaming that out as well, so we might hang around here, maybe take a quick break.
Yeah, we'll come down and go back
before
up.
we come and do that. You got anything else on your agenda for today, Jeff? Anything else we should be looking for?
I mean, I've got some other stuff here. Let me look at my schedule here. They've got that panel that starts at noon, so that's half an hour away.
Yeah.
That'll be 45 minutes. Then I've got an interview lined up, so I'll be backing the dump truck up to Microsoft for some of that.
Word.
And let's see, Get Up Close timetable is below. So I don't know. I'm not sure what some of this stuff entails. They've been a little vague thus far, but I've got 4 or 5 different things to do today, so hopefully that stuff will be good.
Okay.
So I think, hey Jeff, if you can confirm, I didn't see any component out on that thing or composite breakout. Just HDMI, huh?
I think it's probably just HDMI.
We're all screwed. No more capture. DHCP and HDMI. It has a Blu-ray drive, right?
It does have Blu-ray, yeah.
So DHCP enabled and no component out.
Right.
Film it off screen. 2013.
No, it takes video itself. You saw they showed that quick little thing of just capture gameplay clips and upload them to something yourself. All right, Jeff. We may check back in with you later after this other little talk happens here. Any closing thoughts here before we let you go on the presentation so far on what is the Xbox One?
Wasn't hugely surprised by a lot of what they were saying. A lot of it is some of the stuff that we've been hearing for a little bit now.
Yeah.
So, just good to have that stuff confirmed and get that out of the way so the developers can actually start talking about games finally. That's been the frustrating part is all this like, oh, here's this game running on a high-end PC. Like now that we're done with that, we can start getting real about what's actually coming. So that's probably the most exciting part, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Finally get some damn games. All right, Jeff, I'm going to let you go, and hopefully we'll check back in a little bit later.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Jeff. All right. So, Vinny?
Yeah.
What's up?
With the press conference?
No, you were opening your mouth like you had an agenda, something to roll out
I
here.
really wonder if they'll. I really wonder if they'll put protection on the video out for games.
I
suspect
bet
they'll
that's
do
something that we won't know until we have one.
Yeah, I suspect they'll do it for the Blu-ray stuff. They might have to.
Yeah, I think by law that has to happen.
We'll see. I wonder if the games will be on Blu-ray. I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I figure that's why you put a Blu-ray drive in there.
Yeah.
Is that we still need disc
Tons of
capacity
space.
Because people,
and I bet
aren't
it's
buying Blu-ray movies.
Yeah, it's not for movies.
I mean, I bet it's at this point of just like, we could try and come up with some half-ass, proprietary standard for a disc. Or, what, Blu-ray exists. There's Blu-ray factories. We can make these things cheaply.
Yep.
Who cares if we give a couple of bucks to Sony out of this? It's not even really the same Sony that's getting that money.
Does the Blu-ray logo? It doesn't say Sony on it, right?
No.
Okay, because that would have been awesome. Just having a big Sony stamp on
It's not
the Xbox.
exclusively a Sony thing, Like
They're just part of the
Blu-ray group.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. So, guys, you want to take a quick 15, 20 minutes here?
Yeah, I can use the restroom.
Everyone, stretch your legs. You folks at home as well. Stand up, stretch. Don't want to be in one place for
want to be
too
limber.
long. Well, we're going to be back. There's this. Brad, do you have what the details are on this next
noon
stream here? This is happening at noon Pacific
That's
time.
the same thing Jeff's going to, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, hang on. It's okay. Oh, I lost it.
It's right here.
Here we go. So, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they didn't say anything about Twitch streaming or any kind
But
of
did
streaming.
they say what this is? I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I've got it right here. So.
That's
Major
more or
Nelson
less.
says, join me and special guests to discuss the architecture of Xbox One. Here you'll hear more about the design decisions behind the ultimate blah, blah, blah.
All right, Dan Greenewalt from Turn 10.
They've got the corporate vice president from IEB Hardware.
Yep. Todd Holmdahl.
Oh, okay, yeah, you see it.
We've got it up there, yeah. Nick Baker, Boyd Moulter, and Dan Greenewalt. So we'll watch that. We'll do the same thing that we did before. Although I imagine we'll have single stream for this.
Yeah, don't expect the double stream.
Yeah, do not expect the double stream for that. But we're gonna watch this on Twitch and give you again more of our prescient live expert commentary on the proceedings. So we'll leave the. I don't even know if chat's running at this point.
Yeah, chat's up.
Chat's back up.
So Ian, let's just fade to black on this. We'll come up.
Yeah, we're
give
going
the
to
folks
leave
some
the
music.
stream running. We're just going to bring it down to black, but we'll be back here before 12 p.m. Pacific time for more Xbox One live coverage. So stick around. No, we don't.
I got these eggs.
That's not me at all. Nope, that's almost me.
Don't look at my food.
Hey, folks. Oh, there we go. We're back here just a few minutes leading up to the Xbox One architecture panel, which is going to be streaming out on Twitch. So you can check that out on Twitch if you want to see it, sans commentary. But we're going to be sitting here. It's myself, Brad Shoemaker's here, Vinny Caravella's here. Patrick Klepek will be joining us shortly. He is out news hounding it up at the moment, I believe.
In the bathroom?
Yep. Getting the hot stories from the third floor men's room here
I brought
at CBSI.
I brought some hot sauce.
Is that a CBS property?
Yes.
Okay. Really?
No.
Damn it. That'd be great.
I know.
If we were wired into Tabasco somehow.
God, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so Patrick will be joining us shortly here. And I think we all have a lot of questions concerning the hardware here for, as much as they showed of the actual box and the actual controller and the actual new Kinect, which they're just calling Kinect. Like they're not renaming that or iterating on the naming at all. It's like it's new hardware, but that's just Kinect.
Hey Ian, can we get a shot of the PC? So Brad, what do you think about this D-pad? Look at that.
Actually, that's the first time I really eyeballed it. I don't know that I'm...
A little recessed.
A little recessed.
Yeah.
I really like what they did with the latest one, the transforming one. You guys have used that thing, right?
Yeah.
Like with the recessed thing, that is a great D-pad. Like it feels really nice. And now this, I don't know.
You don't wait.
The way it's flush with the casing, I guess there's a little bit of a recess to it.
Oh, this looks like it dips down so much.
I know.
What do you think about these?
That looks nice. Those have that also the kind of scooped out recessed sort of thumb grip area that new controller has. Those are nice.
Do you think this lights up?
Maybe.
I think so. Is that even a button?
I know, that's the thing. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't look like there's the ring of light or anything.
The ring of light looks gone. So I wonder how you sync up now.
Hard to. I mean, that whole black surface underneath it could be translucent. There could be, light underneath there. It doesn't necessarily have to have the physical bezel.
This looks like a button to me.
Yeah.
This looks like something you press.
I think you're right.
It's so low, though, for a button. But it's hard to tell from this photo.
Maybe it's capacitance.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
Maybe.
I hope not. I hope capacitive.
So menu and view buttons.
Capacitive buttons need to be gone.
So what does that mean?
I bet the view is like a task switching thing.
Yeah, that's what that looks like.
So that's menu on the right there.
And menu must just be like options and stuff, like a start button.
I bet they're going to be
basically your start button.
In a game, yeah, they'll be used exactly the same.
Yeah. Takes AA batteries.
Oh, huh.
But how many?
Doesn't say. I'm going to guess 1, 2, 3.
That's what 4. I was afraid of.
4 of them?
4, because it does power. This is a powered port
like
now on the bottom.
If they can power a 5.1 headset with that thing.
Does it look like there's a port on the top there as well?
I don't know. This could be the IR, or this could be the sending out. This could just be like more translucent than this.
Or maybe that's like the sync button. No, it looks like there's the sync button up and to the right, though.
This
like
over
there,
here?
yeah. Looks like that's what might.
Let's see if there's
with
another
that.
The thing's starting.
Xbox One architecture panel.
Yeah, we're getting going here.
Our invited members of the press here in the auditorium with us.
Ian, can we get a little more sound in the studio, please?
I'll put it up here.
Joining me, I've got some members of the Xbox One panel. Today, you're going to learn a little bit about the Xbox One software, hardware, services, and the architecture, and some of the decisions that have gone into making the system. Let's start with the introductions right here. Todd?
My name is Todd Holmdahl. I run the Xbox hardware group. We're responsible for building all the consoles, Kinects, and accessories you see out there. We build everything from silicon to motherboards to mechanical parts. I've been working on the Xbox for 13 years, started in 1999.
And I'm exhausted.
Todd has been with us since the very beginning of the Xbox.
It's his fault that the red rings kept happening.
I'm Boyd Walter.
I would say that is
I run the software for the console. So think the operating system, the Kinect stack, the dash, anything that's not a game that runs on the box.
Yeah, but at some point that guy had to sign off on like,
team
yeah, this is
for
good enough.
13 years as well.
I don't think that falls on
And when I joined, I founded something called Xbox Live.
That may have been done against his will.
The secrecy of that company for years, pretending it wasn't an issue, was a larger problem than an engineer that was
since then, been working on media and now Xbox One.
Thank you. And then next to you we have.
That's fair.
And I'm Nick Baker. I run the architecture and verification team in the Silicon organization. My team's responsible for picking all the cool technology that we put inside the chips.
What?
I have been doing game consoles, started in 1993 at 3DO. I've worked on Web TV, Ultimate TV, and all 3 iterations of Xbox.
And then, of course, if you're an Xbox gamer, you know who this next guy is.
I'm Dan Greenwald. I'm the creative director at Turn 10. We make Forza Motorsport. Like several of the people on the panel, I've been involved with Xbox through Microsoft Games for 13 years now. And Forza Motorsport is really about proving out what our hardware and services are capable of doing.
Wow.
That's what he's getting more and more intense.
Well, let's get right to it.
He's
I want to talk
real
to you, Todd, and talk to you about how has this generation been different from the previous 2 generations of consoles?
Shaving the head with the beard.
Now it's a little sinister.
Cranking it up.
The biggest difference
he's
is
starting to
what's
get a little
going
super
on in the
villainy.
living room today. It's different than what was going on 8 years ago. There are a number of major trends that are creating new forms of entertainment. The first, of course, is the internet. The internet is in the living room in full force now. People are not only gaming, but they're streaming video. They're downloading apps.
Microsoft is very excited to bring you the internet only on Xbox One.
They're even browsing. It's really creating a whole new way to watch TV and interact with your television set. The second thing that's much different is that there are multiple devices in the living room that are complementing what's going on the TV. You see PCs in the living room, you see tablets, you see phones. And then the third thing that is different is NUI. We started Natural User Interface in 2010 with Kinect. You're starting to see more and more voice and gesture in the living room, and that is also creating a new form of a new way to interact with your television set. Now what we had to do, we had to not only build a great box for gaming, but we also wanted to make sure that we had a box that allowed developers to take advantage of all these things that were happening in the living room.
Now, Dan, you've got some comments how things have changed over the years from a creator standpoint.
Well, Todd's absolutely right. It's just a different world now that we live in. Gamers are more connected with each other. Devices are interconnected. One thing I'd really like to comment on is this is a more powerful box, which is fantastic. But it's not just that it's more powerful. It's also connected. It's connected to the cloud. And that gives us as creators the ability to offload some of the processing that we would use. That we
How
would do on
scripted
really
is this
powerful
round
box,
table?
But also do processing that we can't do even on this powerful box.
There's a script
because
right
we have the
there.
power of the cloud.
Opening
So we
statements
can
I'm
move
going to
things,
say
physics,
are going to be
AI,
all planned.
worlds.
I don't
we can
know.
give incredible
A
rendering
lot of this
capabilities
is so
to the cloud.
vague.
And that means
Yeah.
these
guys know.
So this is a
This is
radically
not
different way of
quite
thinking
the
about how we
detailed
work as
info dump
creators
I was
on
hoping
box.
for.
Now, Todd, you brought up those three elements a moment earlier. What are some of the challenges about integrating those three things into the Xbox One architecture? And can you talk about some of those technical challenges?
Yeah, first we wanted to build a really powerful box. We built a custom system on a chip for this with a CPU and a GPU. We have embedded SRAM on die on our chip. We really like that because it gives us high bandwidth to the GPU to keep the GPU fed with data. Sometimes when you go off chip with memory, it's harder to keep that GPU filled with data.
Okay, yeah.
The second thing is we made the box so that it could be
Just the system on chip stuff?
and
Well, specifically, there's a bunch
switch
of
from one app to
the
another
rumor said
app.
32
We
meg, which is a
worked
ton
with,
of like super
Boyd's
fast
team
cached
on
literally in the
software.
CPU or
We
GPU.
added lots of
in that
memory,
unit.
both system memory and flash
It helps
cache
make up for the
in
slower
order to
system
have
memory
that
that they have.
simultaneous and instantaneous action out there. The other thing we did, and you heard about this, is we wanted to be connected and ready. We added gigabit Ethernet to
trying to
the
get that
box, so you had
microphone
high
up there
bandwidth
so somewhere,
to the
like,
internet. We added
Not picking you guys up.
802.11n radios, a couple of them in there so that you could be connected wirelessly to the internet as well to other devices in the living room so that you could have these great multi-device
that must be with that
experiences
Wi-Fi
using smart glass apps.
Direct or
No,
And then
yeah,
for the
Wi-Fi
ready
Direct. I
part
looked
of
it up. It's basically
we
a
really
peer-to-peer kind of
architected the
Wi-Fi,
box,
so you can
at the
connect a bunch
beginning
of
to
devices
have
to it
multiple
without a
power
router being
states,
present.
so that you could use just enough power
Okay,
for the
so
experience
it's just like
that you're
another
in,
router?
and not anymore.
It's
If you're
more for- I think it's for, like,
transitioning
I think it's
to
for
another state, you
peripherals,
could do that
basically.
easily
Okay,
and
so they could
quickly.
just use
And the best
Wi-Fi to
example of
connect,
that,
so like the
of course,
controller
is Wake
and
on
whatever
Voice.
else.
We have just a
That was
little
my
bit of
understanding.
power in
I don't know if that means
Connect
that
and a
they're-
little bit of power in the console to process.
There's no, they wouldn't use Wi-Fi for
the
controllers
voice
though.
that's
'cause,
coming
like that's
in,
way
and
more.
then when you say
it's just
Xbox
way more
on,
latency
we
than their
immediately
current,
power on quickly and get
Yeah,
you to your experience.
whatever their radio.
The last thing is
frequency
we
stuff.
went all in on Connect, completely redesigned it from the ground up. This new time-of-flight technology. It's going to give you better identification, better field of view, better depth. The audio, voice is better. Identification. We've got HD
looking at
in
me.
there. Just completely redesigned the whole Connect sensor.
Now, Nick, I want to talk to you about silicon because that's your department. Tell us about some of the things that came from your team and some of the challenges you came across designing for Xbox One architecture.
Yeah, so if you look at everything we're trying to do with saving power consumption, running multiple operating systems at the same time,
Distinguished
delivering
engineers.
the performance we want to do, the feature, the groundbreaking technology in the new Connect sensor, it really is not possible to do that with off-the-shelf silicon. So it was pretty obvious early on.
Is that like
we needed
the
to develop custom
engineering
silicon for this.
equivalent
We
of like a
developed all this
knighthood?
thing from the ground up. Turned out we had to
Distinguished?
develop 5
Yeah,
pieces of silicon
distinguished
split
engineer.
between the console and the new Connect. And they're not just individual pieces of silicon. We need to make them work in a coherent fashion even across you.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Oh.
Damn it.
Get notified.
Sure. Did it actually die?
I would like to know when this is live.
That was the stuff I wanted to hear.
I think, did it actually
It's
die?
offline.
Oh no. Stinks.
Well, let's take it to the chat then.
All
Connect.
right.
Take it to the chat.
While the Xbox Ones.
Right now, somebody is freaking out.
It's me.
And they're like, you're off, you're offline, you're offline.
I'm freaking out. They're offline. Oh, here we go. They're back online. with no audio.
Can you kind of pull that apart a little bit and tell us about what are some of the enhancements there?
Sure. The new Kinect, again, completely redesigned from the ground up with this time-of-flight technology.
So tired.
First of all, field of view is about 60% better than what we had in the last generation.
We saw this already.
This allows us to fit
sure?
6 skeletons in the sensor as opposed to 2.
No.
This allows somebody tall like me to get 3 or 4 feet closer
I haven't
without
slept
getting my
in
head
2
chopped
years.
off by the sensor.
That's cool. 3 or 4 feet closer is
The
good.
sensor to be used in smaller rooms because now people
Still gonna have to
can
move
get
my
closer
coffee
and still
table,
be
though.
in frame. Another thing that we
3 or
did
4 feet
was
is the difference between
we
working in my apartment and
helped the depth quality.
It sounds like, Vinny, that was
quite a bit.
in your old living room. That was the
that's huge.
The same issue.
Oh man.
We were watching.
So that's
this
a point,
crash
something we were
live.
talking about beforehand. No mention of streaming partnerships or anything like that. Which again, Vinny, you and I were talking in between these two streams, that it seemed like Microsoft very deliberately, anything that Sony had really hung its hat on during its press conference, even if it's here, even if it's a thing that's going to be meaningful on Xbox One, it seemed like Microsoft was very deliberately just being like, yes, we have that, but let's move on.
And
like with gameplay capture and upload stuff. Like, we have that, but we're not going to make a big deal about that right now. Of course we have.
IR helps a lot.
Right, exactly.
In the low light where you have the illumination.
That's in there.
It also helps with things like expressions, like you can tell, what's on your,
there's Jeff.
your
There's Jeff.
face, whether they're smiling.
I see Jeff.
Whether or not you're engaged. And we can add that into the overall toolkit that the
Every time you see Jeff drink.
So it's really collecting a much more accurate data than we were with the current generation.
More accurate
is that
data,
superfood?
more data, wider field of view, all of the above.
Drinking
Now, Boyd, I want to get to you
this guy's going to
some
punch
of
Major
We've heard a lot
Nelson
about the software and the instant switching, and your team has worked on that. But I want to ask you about what are some of the challenges
Are you a
that
fucking
seeing
idiot,
with current
Major Nelson?
generation gamers, and how are we addressing that with Xbox One?
Yeah, good question. When we said
good
about
question.
trying to
that's a
design
great
the
question.
operating system for Xbox One, you start with the normal thing. Okay, it's going to be a more powerful box. We want it to be great at playing games. But I believe that we have to look at who our customers are and who are the people who are playing games and understand them in order to know that you're building the right thing for them. So you look at the next generation gamers, and you realize that their behavior and their world is fundamentally changed from the last generation. In the last generation, smartphones hadn't really hit, tablets hadn't hit, laptops were around, but they weren't as ubiquitous as they are now. And when you look at people who are watching media today, especially younger people, and you realize they're watching a movie, they're texting with their friends, they're communicating over various applications and services, it's a very dynamic world, right? They're connected with lots of services and things are always changing. And we realized we had a real problem. Right, the normal playbook would be to put a very small dedicated operating system down on more advanced hardware and then go. But if we did that, especially given the needs of the new gamer, we'd realize that would, just putting a new OS, dedicated OS down on newer hardware would be building a shiny version of last gen. Right, so we really wanted to appeal to the needs of the next generation, and we realized, okay,
I'm stealing this from the chat, but how nice of them to just build in a green screen for the internet's use.
Services and change and everything that the internet and the startup culture has brought. And at the same time, we still have to meet the needs of the next generation game developer. Now, the game developer has kind of the opposite
radical
needs.
thing that Microsoft
the game
could have
developer
done
doesn't
would
want
have been
change. They
used
don't
a
want
color
apps
other than
coming and
green
going.
for
They
Xbox.
want to know exactly how much RAM they have, exactly how much CPU, exactly how much GPU, so that they can tune the assets that they're putting into those games.
And I'm looking at Dan for that, because that's what he does.
I mean, these things are expensive. Games are really expensive to build. And you have to tune the artwork. You don't want to build 20 versions of the art because you don't know what GPU or CPU you're on. You want to build just the exact
man
right
hours and
now, if apps
meetings
and services
and discussions
and
were
other
had
things from other developers
about
are coming
the
and going on the
specific
box, that
shade
means you're
of
in a
green
dynamic
that
environment.
is Xbox
and you
green.
don't have guarantees as to exactly how much
did they pay
resources the
some
game
marketing
developers
firm to decide exactly?
So we sat
Well,
back and
I bet
went,
that's
oh, geez,
an
this
internal
is
job,
a
but I
real
bet
problem.
that it's
and we decided to take a risk.
Some
and we
design
went
director
we went
sitting
and
there
chose
with
technology that
dozens
originally
of
came
swatches,
from the services world.
Hand-tone
So
chips.
think
Focus
virtual
testing
machines. We
the
started with
subtle
Hyper-V from
psychological effects of
services.
different
And we
kinds of
started
green.
stripping out
what do we
all
want
the
this
general
green to
purpose
represent?
Right?
Let's
So
go.
in normal
We wanna
virtual
evoke
machine
with this
technology,
color.
you don't know exactly what apps you're running, what OSs. But in this case, we know exactly which. We know there's two. We know there's one about apps. We know there's one about games. We know exactly how they're going to be configured. So you strip all the general purpose stuff out. You boil it
That's
down to the bare
interesting,
minimum,
like-
and you get it really fast on both.
Talking about this a little
so
bit more
that's
about
what
this
that middle
2OS
OS
thing.
was, right? Think virtual machines stripped
Yeah.
down
It
to the
is a
point where
stand.
they're just partitions, guarantee resources to the two different sides. But now we can have
But the
one
idea that,
operating
like,
system,
from a
which is general
processing
purpose,
perspective, they're fundamentally
which is
approaching
made for apps. It's
stuff
made
like
to be flexible.
apps
It's made to allow third
and
parties to
games.
stick things on, and here,
Sure.
a real difference from consoles in the past. That operating system boots and is created when you turn the box on, and it stays booted and it stays running the entire time the box is on. Now, normally in last-gen consoles, when you put a new game in, you reboot the box.
A little bit, I think.
Right, so there's
He's
only
on
ever
chat.
one app running at a time. So now we have a world where we've got one partition.
It's a pretty big fucking
Aimed
box.
at games, all about lots of memory, lots of CPU, lots of GPU, very predictable, and it is one game at a time. And next to it is another VM with lots of apps that are running for a very long period of time. This way, you're able to get those matchmaking sessions that are running and looking for the right players while you're watching a movie or while you're playing a game or doing all kinds of things in the other VM. You can do two things at the same time, and this really solves a lot of problems that we've had in previous generations. For example, matchmaking was always kind of hard. How do you know when your friends are going to be online exactly? What do you do while you're waiting? Okay, well now we can have, you're playing a game, you're watching a movie, you're watching a show, that matchmaking session's going on. Another thing that we learned in 360 was, as much as we try to keep up in the startup world, it always runs faster than us. And we updated 360 lots of times and kept it fresh, but we aren't always going to predict what the next big social service is going to be or what the next trend is going to be. So this time we want to invite them to come and build their apps on our platform and have it work with all the games that have ever been built on it and the new ones that are going to be built and keep them in harmony. Now, the last piece I'll mention is that with Xbox Live, when Mark was talking about the number of machines that are being added, this is a big deal, right? Next gen isn't just about having lots of transistors local. It's also about having transistors in the cloud. And the best way I can explain it is that, to me, next gen is
like
about
having
change.
a digital locker.
I've got these games that stay the same. I've got apps that are changing. But now you start
You
throwing
put
in
the game in
servers
there
that are
and
just
it will
one hop away.
age the game.
That can start doing things like,
digitally.
you look at a game and there's latency sensitive load and there's latency insensitive
gotta
loads.
imagine they were there.
Let's start moving those
I feel so
insensitive
bad
loads
for
off
him.
to the cloud, freeing up local resources.
Vinny, as soon as this thing
And
is done,
effectively,
every single one of
over
those guys
time,
will just
the
collapse
box gets
into
more
a pile
and
of
more
clothes.
powerful. This is completely unlike previous generations. You've got a
pillows
fixed
on
number of
stage.
transistors
Someone,
in the
yeah,
house
they'll be like
and a
paramedic
variable
teams
number
have
of
to
transistors
run
in the
out,
cloud. And as
gather
we get
up all
smarter
these
about
guys.
which loads we can move into the cloud that frees up local
got the slow
resources to do
blade.
I got
things
that
that are about the
earpiece.
here and now.
I got one of those
And this
made
is
in
really
Elson.
exciting. I think that's really cool.
One thing I want to point out is that you also talked about those two operating systems that are sitting next to each other, and then you've got a third one which enables you to swap between them instantly. Can you tell us a little bit about
Nice.
that?
Yeah, the
Are you in?
swapping. I
Plugged
mean,
in?
both of these are running at the same time.
Talking to him?
Right, the Snapped app.
I
the
can hear what
game,
Major Nelson's hearing.
The TV, a game, whatever. Right, those things are literally running at the same time, and they're both drawing at the same time. Now, at the hardware level in the GPU, we've got display planes.
All right, it says ask a
Right, we can
bullshit
just swap
question.
which one's on top. Right, it's instant because they're
No,
both
this is
going,
actually
and you're
useful
just
stuff. No, this is
choosing
good.
which one are you going to show.
The
on
answers
the
are
screen.
good.
So there isn't a whole lot of work to.
Actually, I don't even
okay,
know
now
what
we've got to
question this
tear
guy's
something
answering
down
now,
and bring
but
something up. They're both
laying
going,
it out.
and it is
Multiple
literally
apps running
bam.
at the same
You're into one, bam. You're into the other one, and that's why it's so fast. And having these two different virtual environments running.
Well, basically,
and
there's
that
a game
ability to
layer
switch
and then there's a
between them
Windows
is what
app
gives it
layer,
that
and neither one is
instant
suspended when the other
You
is
obviously we had a
in the
blank
front.
slate when we were starting
But-
to
but,
design this
like, the-
generation. I want to talk to the panel
The
here.
really interesting
each one
thing
of
to
you,
me
your
there
input
is
into
that
it.
they are
and,
like
Boyd, did you go to the hardware
philosophically,
team
like
first?
on a
Hardware team, did you go to Boyd
philosophically,
first?
but like
Dan, did you
on
come
an
over here
engineering
and
level,
say, hey, this is what I want to tell us a little
the
bit
way
about
that they are
about that process
prioritizing
as much as you
resources
can.
is fundamentally different for games and for apps.
Yeah,
Which is,
we
that was kind of a
have a
struggle on the
blank
360 where it's like
slate.
this thing is built for like
where
single
we started,
function
where we always
game
was with the
engines.
customer.
and all of a sudden there's all this other very non-game stuff that they're trying to make it do. My perception as a non-engineer here is that they kind of had to fudge a lot.
Yeah, he said so. They're basically sectioning off some percentage of resources for the app level, and that can never go to the game stuff. Like it's always there for the apps.
Well, they had that for the dashboard on 360. That was there was the chunk of resources that can never be touched on 360.
I think it was only they only had like 32 meg to work with.
Right, it was super small because again they didn't anticipate all this stuff becoming what it did.
So like they've kind of planned for it from the ground up.
So we got some really good customer
Smart.
requirements. We really understood what was going on in the living room and the trends that were out there. We had some great ideas on some technology, and I think Kinect represents that. The cloud represents that. Smart Glass represents that. The OS stuff that Boyd was talking about represents that. And a few years ago, we just started putting those things together.
What else represents that? Come on.
Different ideas.
More examples.
And developing these things just takes a while. You prototype something that doesn't work, and then you go back. But we were able to converge.
Hey, you just fart this thing out. I don't know.
We love. We think that it's a product that's really going to resonate well in the living room and allow people to not only have this great gaming experience, but these great
I just want to fire a gun into my mouth.
Ecosystem
just sweet release, anything.
To continue to grow as we go.
They gave me this shirt. This isn't even my shirt.
We have a lot of power that's built into the box for years to come.
And
I haven't seen my wife and kids.
Took that blueprint and you started designing the architecture of the system.
I can think of at least lots of examples. I can think of at least 2 specific examples. The first one is on 8 gigs of RAM. Why 8 gigs of RAM? When you think about games and how they work, 5 was probably going to be good enough, or 4 might have been good enough, but we really wanted to have those 2 things running side by side, right? And that meant we had to have the 8 gigs of RAM. Conversation between hardware, that's money you have to spend on these boxes, but it was really valuable to have this fast switching and having the things running at the same time. So that became a good conversation.
Be power efficient as well, and be able to put it in the living room, the acoustics, and everything.
The other example is when I think about the graphics stack in particular, memory bandwidth is really important, and we've got these ESRAM caches on the chip.
Right, then just one of these guys snaps, starts strangling the other one.
This next generation of GPU,
you showboating motherfucker!
It's like it is kind of a break from the last generation of GPUs, which were very microcode.
I expect that just in the middle of one of these spiels.
The exact order
and
of the codes
we prototyped a lot of different options to
this
see
time,
where the direction of the living room
is based on
blood just started pouring out of the ears.
And it's much more about data flow. Having the right data in the right caches in the right places at the right time is what will make all the difference in the world for taking advantage of these chips. It's relatively easy to get your code ported onto it. It's relatively hard to get it optimized and really, really looking good. And we worked really closely with Nick's team to make sure we had really good caches on the side.
Andy Eddy in the house.
And that was a really important
Compton's in the house.
Yeah, and, I mean, our process goes back actually many years in terms of understanding.
What do you think of that dolly shot there? That little panning shot.
The guy with the Steadicam.
Oh, was that a Steadicam operator? Yeah.
How working and understanding one of them just kind of concept of snap and instant switching, and
just kind of
go back and
aside,
canvas the technology industry and see what is it we need to do to bring that into the living room. And sort of you mentioned before, I just want to point out that a lot of the technologies we had to go and investigate on the hardware really belong in a data center.
Everyone but Dan Greenwald is wearing some shade of green shirt.
We're distant cousins of that, but the same underlying tech has to work in the hardware.
No, I'm not wearing your green fucking shirt.
So we're 64-bit processors. We need to support hardware virtualization to be able to have multiple operating
So you see that on the side there?
We have to
trying to figure out what that port is.
I know
coherence.
there was a picture of that in the wired gallery. It looks like that's a USB
we really
port.
wanted to get the software
Maybe it's a
out of
SATA 3
the
port.
mode of managing caches.
I feel like they would have mentioned
put in
SATA
hardware coherency
when they
for the
mentioned that
first time
when they were talking about
on the mass
USB
scale,
3.0 or 3.0.
Maybe that's what you plug your hard drive onto.
That's what I'm thinking is
term, but these are not things
external hard drives.
Well, they also need to support
and making
almost everything's going wireless, but for like fighting game communities.
Well, there's
Cast needs to produce wired controllers.
There's two USB ports in the
this
back.
stuff's hard to do,
Yeah.
right? And one of the advantages that we've had
I'm curious about that specific placement on the side for that third
that we're able
USB
to
port.
take advantage of. There's Microsoft Research, which has helped tremendously on Kinect.
Which I guess
But
would
we've
make
also
more sense
been
if
able
you
to
were
take
connecting
advantage of
controllers
software
or whatever
like
for
Hyper-V
the
and really
you know,
talented
if you're not going to have
engineers.
ports on the front, having it
For
on the side
example,
and the front
David
is your next
Cutler
best.
came onto our team about a year and a half ago, and he has been himself
Option.
building that hypervisor that does the switching
But
back
I like
and
to
forth.
believe that
I remember there was some press.
It's also
what is
for
it?
external
David
hard
Cutler's
drives.
moving to Xbox. That's interesting. And I mean, this guy invented operating systems, right? He goes way back. We're super lucky to be able to work with
question
people
here.
of that depth and talent.
Will I be able to stand the
And,
Xbox One up on its
It's made
side?
this kind of project possible.
I think partnership is really the key.
They have not shown that yet. They've not shown it
How
in
this
a
company is
vertical
able to
configuration
bring
yet.
all the different groups together, like Microsoft Research, and
Private
it's been going
scan.
on for a while. I mean, honestly,
I doubt it.
This
I'm
living
gonna say
room
no.
it started changing a while
Remember
ago.
the
And as you said, we've been playing
PS2
catch up and staying
horizontal
on the forefront
stand.
of the console world and in the living room. And this
The
is
most
the next
genius
giant
piece
leap
of
forward
video
in
game
bringing
hardware
that living
periphery.
room to the current age. What's exciting to me is how it does bring everything together. And we got together several years ago and started thinking about this and bringing different teams together with different takes, including bringing game teams together, but also how we manage entertainment as creators. Now, we're obviously part of game teams, but it's important to have a really good tool belt. And that includes things like Kinect, that includes Smart Glass, that includes now this world where we can snap apps into place and actually have an app. If you think about a Call of Duty Elite,
Snap.
you think about a Halo Waypoint, being able to manage your kind of meta career while playing in a game, now you can do that on one screen, or you can do it on the screen in your pocket while you're playing. This console really brings that to bear, and that's what's so exciting to me.
Yeah. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the, we talked about parallelism at a operating system level, but even to get all of this processing out of the box in the first place, that we had to really think about how efficient we are in all the parts within the silicon. So Xbox 360, love it. In order CPU though, not that efficient. You look at the GPU, it's vector processor, which is great, but it's a little bit brute
I'm not
force. It doesn't
upset.
use
It's
all
big.
of the hardware.
It is pretty big.
possible
Yeah, it's
cycle.
huge.
So we went through
So
and
it's a slot drive?
reanalyzed
like
that.
slot
We have
drive to
latest
me.
out of order
Feeder drive.
CPU technology.
I love feeder drives.
eCPU core is capable of doing 6
like
operations per cycle.
starting to put it in.
across
Oh,
eight
it took it
cores
away.
at 48,
Yeah.
The machine grabbed the disc out of my
operations.
hand.
There's many cycles per second.
Billions, yeah.
Okay, just to be clear.
Just to be clear. The
Especially when you
GPU
put
as
in a
well
second disk. It
is
tries to give you a second disk.
multitasking. So you
Why
can
is it-
run
Why is it taking it? Why is it taking it?
several rendering and compute threads, so all of the cloud effects and AI and collision
Also,
detection on the
my
GPU
current really aging
in
launch
parallel
Xbox,
while you're doing the
no
the
longer
rendering.
vertically
And,
will it
switch
spit
to a
out the
scalar
disk
engine,
tray.
which actually means
I
that
have
a lot
to
of the
lay it down
GPU is
horizontally.
being utilized. The GPU can do
Oh, do you actually keep your
768,
Xbox vertical at home?
It's the only way to fit
per,
the Xbox,
per
PS3, and the
cycle.
Wii U all in the
And
same little
again on
area.
the RAM, we talked about that, but really wanted to get 8 gigabytes.
Pretty sure that Xbox was
and
going to
make
die,
that,
but the PC has, I think I'm going to maintain, I'm going to be able to sprint towards
which is
the
a challenge
fall
to
and
get
keep
both
that launcher Xbox.
That's been able to
power-friendly,
take the load off.
20 gigs,
acoustics,
man.
and get high capacity and high bandwidth. So with our memory architecture, we're actually achieving all of that.
So wait,
We're
is
getting
that
up to
your
200 gigabytes a second
only
across
Xbox
the memory
360?
subsystem.
I know that's really important to me, driving
Ever?
a car, worrying about that kind of thing, and
Red
knowing
Wing
that this is
but
a
it's a
box
launcher.
that's able to change its power consumption based on the loads that are going.
Man, my
I feel really good about that. Sometimes, if it needs it, the power's there. If it doesn't need it, it'll go into a lower power mode.
They keep emphasizing
and
how
use
low power
what
the
it
thing
needs
can
to.
be.
Yeah, we took a lot of new technologies. Each piece of the system is able
Is
to
that-
switch within the silicon.
Is that a
there are
lot
actually power
for like
switches
this
on the silicon.
I don't know, I just
fast
don't-
boot stuff?
I don't know,
Shut the
maybe.
cores off, which are not being used. We can
Maybe they're just
apply
worried about
dynamic
heat and
frequency
stuff with all the
voltage
problems of the
scaling,
last
so
one.
If you don't need
If you
to
go
burn
low
power, you
power,
don't have to burn
then you don't have to turn it all the way
So this
off.
chip is
Yeah,
actually
they keep-
scaling up, like Todd was saying earlier, it's scaling up
They keep
and down
talking about like the
accordingly.
memory or the power usage
Nick,
of
I
the
want to
memory
talk to
they're
you a little
using,
bit
which makes
about
me
the
wonder if
living
like
room.
Sony's
Putting a piece of
GDDR
silicon in the living room in this
probably
beautiful
uses a lot more
console.
power.
What are some of the challenges
know.
for designing for the living room?
I think power what is probably the biggest one, just acoustics, just making sure that
Yeah,
we're
I guess
relevant.
the less power uses, the quieter
for
it
the
can be
current
also.
age there. But there's a lot of new standards. Hooking
Sure,
up
less
to
power,
TVs
less
and,
heat, less need
your
for
companion
fans to
devices.
spin up and
So we adopted
Things also-
802.11,
things also covered in
APGM,
vents.
We have multiple radios simultaneously,
huh.
2.4 and 5 gigahertz. USB 3.
I was thinking a lot of that was just
multiple ports on
aesthetic, but-
the
Oh,
on the
okay.
box.
Death Pookie points out in chat that basically
do some of the live TV scenarios.
they basically are intending for you to leave this thing on
That's another thing we have
all the time. Like if this is going to, like if this thing,
hey, I'm not in use.
like if this, like if it's going to be your sort of cable control box, then you're going to have it on all the time.
Both on the input and output, 3D, stereo, 7.1
Oh, wow.
surround. And so,
You say it supports 4K input and output?
all of that.
I believe that I saw that on a spec
Consumer
list. Yeah.
electronics control as well, so you can do the turn on your TV and stereo equipment as well.
How is it for you guys as creators and software and hardware designers to look into the future? And is it a challenge to work together and say, this is where we think the future is going, we're making that bet?
Well, I think it's a challenge, but it's exciting. I mean, honestly, all of us have worked here quite a long time, and even as Don said, opening up the whole discussion, this is honestly one of the most exciting times in my career because of what we have to play with as creators. You know, Kinect, being able to read heartbeat sensors, being able to, in essence, be biometric. You know, what can you do with a game that way if you can actually turn the tables and, you know, see if the player's lying, see if the player's excited, see if the player's scared. There are incredible places this can go. And as Boyd said, having an optimized, predictable platform allows creators freedom because we know the rules. It's like playing chess. You need to know the rules. If you know the rules, you can do incredible movements. Too much freedom actually paralyzes you. So what we need is incredible power with a very stable rule set we can optimize against. And then really easy to use tools. Such as Kinect, such as Smart Glass, where it's just baked in and we can start combining things that people never expected. So bringing Smart Glass and interacting between Smart Glass and Kinect, plus having this beautifully rendered screen. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limits of where we can go. But what excites me the most, as I mentioned earlier, was the cloud.
And EA has
that is, in essence,
now
giving us the freedom that's kind of fear-inducing in that we don't want
they
the
can take the title for
randomization
having
too much freedom.
announced
like
the first
to control your PC
Xbox
config.
One and
As a
PlayStation 4
developer,
game
trying to control for PC
with
config
Battlefield 4
can be a lot of work. But now what we get is
Ubisoft said
power we
like
can
Watch Dogs
tap
and Assassin's
directly
Creed 4 and
into
blah
to
blah
offload
blah coming to
processes
Xbox
and
One.
do again the low latency.
Oh, it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
now we
no,
have
you're right.
the best
But I
of
mean, you know,
both
it's all stuff
worlds.
we
have
could
a very
have
stable
guessed pretty
platform
easily.
that we can create from.
No, I know. It's just it's funny that as
we
soon
have
as
an
the
ever-evolving,
press conference
more
goes
powerful
down, that the
world
press
we
releases
can
come
tap
out
into.
saying, "Hey, we're coming out for this thing
that
that
really
you
is a
knew we were coming out for
fundamental
already,
difference
but
between this generation
now
and
we
the
can
last
say it."
generation. No, the last one, that box was fixed, and the game was all about optimize.
Speaking
the
of
games
stocks,
that we see now
everybody
on
keeps
360 look
harping on this.
tremendously better than the
Like
games that
Sony
launched
stock is up and Microsoft stock is down. Like that happens every time a product gets
stock
announced.
goes down during their press conference.
Sony stock went down when PS4 was announced. Apple's stock goes down when they announce products.
Sony's went down precipitously.
Yeah, like that just happens. The market reacts like that. That doesn't mean anything about like investor confidence.
But you can also maybe take some of the things that are normally done locally, push them out, and this generation is about embracing change and growth while still maintaining the predictability the game developer needs. Right? This is a balancing act that we have to achieve. I think we're going to pull it off. This is very exciting. This is a new way of thinking about gaming consoles and what could be done with them.
Yeah, I think that there are a number of inflection points that are really critical for experience development going forward. The inflection point of the internet and the cloud, and these guys talked about it. It is going to change the way people experience things in the living room and any place that they carry a device. There's an inflection point occurring with the multiple devices being connected together and having an ecosystem connecting all things together. And then there's an inflection point with natural user interface. When you get these types of inflection points occurring, there's opportunities to create these incredible products, and there's an opportunity to shift share from one set of devices to another set of devices. I think we're entering that era right now, and if you've ever been developing products, these are the types of things that you look for. You get up early in the morning and start figuring out how you're going to apply that to the product, how you're going to work with your research group, your experience group, your software group, and your hardware group, and making something that resonates with the customer.
Yeah. Nick, did you have something to add?
Well, just something that Boyd triggered about, and that about Infinite Worlds. There's also some technology we put in to enable really large dynamic worlds as well. So we have a thing called partially resident textures that the GPU supports, which essentially means that you can save potentially gigabytes of memory in not having to have all of the data loaded at all of the time. And so the GPU itself can figure out if something's actually in memory or not. It doesn't need everything to be physically in memory the whole time. And we also put in compression as well. We have LZ77 move engines that can just work behind the scene and compress and decompress, which is going to be really super important for working with data from the cloud.
You know, one more area, I want to touch on one more area of growth and also kind of working with the hardware team. When I think about the Kinect stack, the software stack on Kinect isn't one of those things that is necessarily fixed. Right? There's a huge bank of machines that are running machine learning algorithms that create the software that takes the images from the depth camera and turns that into skeletons and things the games can actually use. And we've had a really good partnership with the hardware team on what's the right camera and the right technology to go into it. But there's still a huge bank of machines doing this machine learning and constantly gathering. We're constantly gathering new information from the team and from how it works and building better and better algorithms. So I expect that to also improve over time. Right? It's, again, growth. This is not going to be as static a platform as we've seen in the past. And both in the OS, from Kinect, from overall functionality, it's going to be fun.
And even your games won't be as static. It was mentioned quickly in the briefing, but achievements, things that are actually evolving over time, and games that can evolve over time based on what we're seeing. So again, doing processing in the cloud allows us to have a window into how the world is moving. What are people doing? So we can be direct and design evolving worlds. If you imagine a giant epic world where my actions interact with yours, that's one level. That's very cool. But another one is just kind of taking the meta level where everybody is doing a lot of things and we see that movement and can re-put that into the game automatically. So the game actually evolves over time. Achievements evolve over time. We realize that taking an arrow in the knee actually becomes something that people
up pretty closely with the rumor that they were talking about, which actually seems like a pretty smart way to evolve this stuff. I think a lot of people are over.
We wanted to add a persistent,
but like
a persistent
not going
nature
to achievement
to
hunting,
gaming.
right? The same way
So
that
it's
the idea
an
of
online service. It supplies
being able to respond
games
to
and
user
games shipped on a
habits.
disc and
Also doing
the original Xbox. On 360,
rolling out limited time
we
stuff
added
will drive people
achievement points, it
wild.
got
Looking
better,
at like
got
what
bigger.
Valve does,
But
where it's
now,
like, oh, you can only get this item for this
when the
weekend,
game
and then it's
ships
gone
on that
forever.
disc, it's not static. Like the game developer can choose, hey, people are playing this game slightly differently than I thought they would, so maybe we should add some achievements over here, and you can do it after the fact and change the game without necessarily perturbing that local world of the optimized graphics and the optimized gameplay locally, but still adding new achievements, adding new challenges, having growth because it's connected to the cloud, going through these apps that are over on the dynamic side of the operating system. It's all going to work together.
And all that, plus you get the things you expect. So the thing we've actually kind of glossed over is the fact that this box is just very powerful. So we can do things in physics, we can do things in animation, we can do things that we've never been able to do before, and it takes up a smaller footprint. It's incredible, right?
Now, we saw some of your game a little bit earlier in the show, and we're going to see hopefully some more stuff at E3.
Volume a little bit. I would expect something like that.
Okay. well, it's only 19 days away. Boyd, we've only got a few more minutes here before we wrap things up. I just want to talk to you a little bit. Actually, talk both of you and Boyd. You guys are here from the beginning. Looking back, we all talk about putting putting the network port in the back of the original Xbox. That seems so ridiculous now, right? But looking forward, are we at that point now where it seems obvious that this console about it being, talking to the transistors in the cloud like you spoke of?
For each of these generations, I think there's been
transistors in the cloud buzzword, whatever.
One major change that's happened. In the original Xbox, it was putting that Ethernet port on. That was a really big deal. We had a powerful box, but just embracing the fact that there was a cloud and the internet was there and trying to figure out what to do with it, that was pretty radical. On 360, I would say it was HD, right? That was a whole new thing. Obviously a major change in graphics processing and architectures. And then the way it interacted with the cloud was significantly better. So there was definitely change there. For me, this time around, it's about embracing ongoing change.
Everybody's waiting to find out.
Right, this is really fundamentally different.
I'd say considering that the Kinect itself is shooting at 1080p.
It absolutely should.
And expecting it to grow.
Probably will.
60 frames per second dream is always something that will never be realized.
Because you're always going to sacrifice something like, oh, we could drop the frame rate down and look at how much more stuff we can do.
But to me, the really big fundamental
absolutely. It's absolutely doable. It's just a question of do they want to hold back on like the pixel shaders and whatever to make sure that it runs smoothly.
Lots of services are coming and going. We have to embrace the internet, admit it's there, let's participate in it, while still having the great games with their predictable environment. Really tough balancing act to pull off.
The other thing that I'll add is the decision to put Kinect in the box in every box was a big decision for us. And I think, like back in the days,
this puts the pressure on Sony to include
Ethernet port on the back, that the developer always knew that they were going to have an internet connection.
Depends on what the plans are for it, I guess.
Going to know that they're going to have Kinect available. They know they're going to
get
great
choose to not put it in the box and bring the price
down. They know
down.
that they're going to get great skeletons. They know that they're going to get voice and voice recognition, voice conversation.
PS4 camera.
Oh, you think they now have to put the PS4 camera in the box?
If they want third parties to make games for both systems with that feature?
You're going to see some great experiences start out when we launch.
How many third parties are going to make
learn more and more about
it's maybe the surprising thing to me is how much
the box, and you're going to continue to see those experiences even develop.
What do they call the PlayStation? Is it just the Eye? Still, is it PlayStation
you as
Eye?
a creator. I mean, we saw a little bit of it in some of your previous games.
But just design-wise, how much that and the new Kinect look alike.
Something I mentioned is being.
I mean, they're camera arrays, so like there's kind of a basic shape those are going to be.
Showcase this great.
Sure, and that's more Sony responding to, hey, the Kinect's the one that kind of took off.
Just to go back for a second before I actually go
if you want those games, it makes more sense to
with the original
conform
Xbox
to
and
what
the
developers are
Ethernet
used to creating
and
games
Xbox
on.
Live, that was
But
a
I mean,
big
even just
deal.
from like
And so we embraced this
not
idea
just layout, but like the design, like both have that kind of hard edge.
Obviously, a long time ago, what 2.0 was not really talked
sound bar.
No Apple-like designs. Just this go round.
Hard, black, industrial.
That was a way of showcasing.
I dig it. I'm into it. I hope the PS4 looks, takes similar directions.
Having these incredible painted liveries. So in Forza Motorsport 4, we looked at Kinect, and it was this new boon.
I'm not a big fan of when my electronics look like spaceships.
And that was actually an incredibly ahead of its time sensor, and yet nothing next to what we have right now. I mean, getting incredible dexterity within the hands, seeing that.
I either want them to look like supersized versions of the components that are inside.
And then just working in the dark, working with children, working all the time. All the things that,
industrial,
one was the most
functionality based.
Honestly, it was an incredible technical achievement.
Or wood
it had its
panel.
limitations. And those are addressed and then some.
That was when I bought my Launch 360. The one faceplate that I bought was a fake wood panel faceplate,
but
which I
going
love.
into wow, the player's actually getting excited. We can see that they're flushing, they're getting agitated because they're playing online, or we can see, what's actually happening in the room, that somebody has come in behind them. They maybe don't know about them. How can we do this into a horror game? There's so many different ways we can now use all of this information.
I don't know, there's somebody in your house you don't know, and they're playing Kinect with you.
We get funny that already.
The nice
How
thing
can
is
we
it's basically
make
free
this
to
a more
us to create.
immersive
It's simply part of the box.
experience?
We'll put a virtual knife in their hands.
There it is. There's
of home invasion.
All right, well, we only have a few more minutes left, gentlemen, so I'm just going to ask for each one of you.
Real home invasion virtualized the cloud transistors.
Well, this has been, of all the generations I've had an opportunity to work on, this has definitely been the most exciting for me personally. I think we're doing some things where we're integrating with
the excitement,
hardware, or with hardware, software,
this guy's
services, and experiences.
Whatever, he's an
bring it down. No, I'm
guy's a
not.
hardcore engineer.
I'm happy to have these guys sitting out here and talking for real a little bit.
There's slicker people you can put out, so it's good that a guy like that gets in the spotlight every once in a while.
I think the ponytail guy is the breakout here as far as like technical smarts, but also kind of being engaging.
I've seen
being able to articulate that stuff.
What context?
And it's going to
head out of the way, Larry. Goddamn.
Already, And I know that developers and people developing experiences are going to take that power.
We got a Herb in the shot.
And develop more exciting things as we go forward.
What?
Yeah. For me, the question I obsess about is what is next gen? I love games. I've been playing them for a long time. I don't know if I call myself a next-gen gamer, because the idea of tweeting and being social while playing a game just kind of drives me crazy.
What are games?
But I watch my nieces, I watch other people who are younger who play games, and I see the way they interact with movies and their friends and all that stuff at the same time. And I want to build a box that's modern, appeals to them, and still meets my needs as a gamer.
Big Herb.
At the same time, the rest of the entertainment industry is also changing around us, and the TV thing is very exciting. There's lots more in there we haven't talked about yet that you'll see.
About that Xbox. Smoking on that Nelson.
Embracing that change, understanding that the next generation is not a static device. That's what it's about to me.
Nick?
All I can say is I just can't wait to get one.
That too.
Yeah, it's. I mean, just as playing games, entertainment. It's been a thrill working on it, and I'm sure it's going to be excellent once it's in the living room.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, Dan, you've got a lot to share.
Well, I'm just very excited about this generation. As I mentioned, that this is the most exciting time of my career because there's so many innovations coming our way that we can, as creators,
I can't wait to, take another human life with my hands.
First, living room device.
Nothing
that is embracing
aside
this
from
huge
game
cultural
development
change
really
where
gets
people
my
expect
my blood going.
in all of their products.
Than
They expect
snuffing
their
out a
phone
human
to
life.
be a computer. They expect their computer to be a tablet.
Staring
They
straight into their
expect
eyes
tablet to be an
until
MP3 player.
they just go blank.
Everything is supposed to work together. Cars now have internet connections, which is fantastic. I've got an app in my car, multiple apps.
Wait, where am I?
That's what people expect, and that's what they demand of their living room.
So the psychiatrist,
And
right?
So that's really challenging for the four of us, and
Well,
those that we
at least
represent.
my hands aren't covered in blood this time. So that's
Not only for the consumer,
step up, I
but
guess.
for the four of us and all that we represent. How can we challenge this? How can we bring
Be
people
clear,
entertainment
nothing but the
that's not
utmost
just,
respect for Dan Greenwald.
Wow, that'd be cool. But actually, that's what I expect. That's what I demand. Our hope is that 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now,
Dan
everything
Greenwald
that we're doing
demands
right
it. What are you
now
going to do? Say
is
no?
expected of all devices, and probably my
He's a
car.
guy that I love listening
No, I
to
want
talk
more
about.
transistors.
I love listening to him talk about his games, even though those games don't
Well,
interest
listen,
me
I
at
want
all.
to thank everybody here in the audience,
He's able to
as well as
articulate his
watching on
passion
Twitch
so
TV at
well.
home.
He
Don't
sells
forget,
well.
19 days from now, we'll be down at E3 in Los Angeles.
Oh
We'll have
my
live
God.
coverage of
19
everything going on
days.
Keep
there.
saying that.
Every time,
Xbox
Brad just
One
like,
games. We're looking
Did you buy your
forward to
flight
sharing
yet?
even
Don't forget
more.
to do your write-ups.
We should go buy our flight.
I already bought my flight. All right, so that's the architecture panel.
19 days.
19 days
Not
until
really, no. Only like 15 business
and they're going
days?
to do another rebroadcast. So if we talked over too much for your precious ears, you can
Does this stuff not get archived?
watch that again. Sans commentary.
I'm sure it will.
So some details coming out of that didn't get touched on. Although again, I think contrasting to the Sony show, amazing in some regards how little they can say in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But got some details. I wish I had internalized some of the names. But yes, Ponytail Guy.
Boyd.
Oh, was that was Boyd?
Boyd Molterer?
Yeah, there it is. It seemed like he was kind of articulating a lot of the concepts here, and I think the one that I latched onto the most, that I feel like he explained the best, was this multiple operating systems idea, which was a crazy thing for them to throw out during the main presentation and not really they didn't go into any detail about.
They didn't really contextualize what it means, but the second he said, like, you can start your multiplayer search, like your find game in your game, and then flip over and do something at the app layer, but the search will keep going,
Right.
It's not that the game has to get suspended when you jump out and do something else.
I think it's really interesting to me that they are approaching, that they are recognizing that, look, the computational needs of a game engine versus an app of some kind, a web browser, a media streaming thing, whatever it is that this other layer is doing, that those are different enough that it makes sense for them to basically run these different virtual machines inside the Xbox to meet those needs. So that, I mean, what I'm getting from that is that potentially, one is happening and is not being impacted whatsoever by the other because they have that virtualized kind of gate between the two of them.
Yep.
I think the thing that from that little talk that was interesting was them talking about trying to suck online CPU power and pull it back into your basically cloud computing to kind of take some of the load off, and be interesting to see how that actually works.
Right. I feel like that's been a dream when it comes to the cloud computing stuff since you remember the original OnLive pitches.
Yeah, to offload some of that from the console, and if that actually works, that'd be amazing.
I mean, actually, it's Vinny. This story that you have pulled up right now. There's that quote at the nope. There you go. There's this line, as developers are forced to create games that have these online features and thus are not playable offline, they are not, Xbox exec Witten said to Wired, but I hope they do. So even though the DRM and online-only stuff is not necessarily coming in at a hardware level, certainly Microsoft is encouraging developers to move in that direction, which gets us naturally there as this generation goes on, most likely.
And this is on Wired.com. It seems like they have a pretty...
They got a big write-up here on Wired. They've got some more images and stuff, so if you want to dive a little deeper, they've got your back.
Wait, go
Chris
down a little
Kohler.
bit. Scroll down a little bit.
Chris K.
Oh, fucking Kohler got to see everything early. Scroll back up.
I'm not sure if that's true. I think it's Peter Rubin was the guy who wrote the big feature.
Is that like the controller in the top? Is that matte black? Is the lighting just weird and making it look gray?
I don't know.
Or is it actually
this
gray?
Looks matte, but there's a bunch of pictures on Wired. The other ones look.
That looks black. It
looks
might
like
have
it's
been
black.
the angle.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they're going all black.
It's nice to just know what it looks like. I know people said they didn't care coming out of the PS4 thing, but I care. I just it's almost like putting a face to a name.
It makes it that much more real.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
Like PS4 is still kind of theoretical.
It's sort of
in a lot
abstract
of ways.
in a way because you don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's validity.
Like it's not necessarily a rational argument. It's just sort of the way that.
It's a gut feel thing,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Like all you have to hang on for PS4, I mean, other than actual fucking games, is the controller, which is different enough that's meaningful and significant.
It also draws lines in the sand. It says, hey, like this is what we're doing. This is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Now we have to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And Sony left themselves more wiggle room with the way they rolled that stuff out.
Right. This is we've already decided.
Right.
This is what the thing is going to look like. Someone had mentioned this on Twitter to me, and I definitely noticed it when they first showed it off. Any thoughts? Do you think there's any significance to the fact that the box just says Xbox on it, that they don't spell out the name Xbox One?
Not really.
Larry here from Xbox Live's Welcome to the Xbox
That could be them
One
just
Arcade.
getting to the point that we were getting at earlier of Xbox One is like sort of, that is the name, but they also know that people are probably just going to call it, like it's part of the Xbox family.
Right.
It's somebody mentioned that on the stream, by the way. That's an extra USB port, that thing on the side.
Yeah, no, definitely it's a USB port, but I was speculating on the reason for it being on the side there.
And it's an odd shape.
Well,
Well, I guess it just echoes the footprint, right?
There aren't any on the front, are there?
No, there's two on the back, there's one on the side. So I guess that could serve the purpose of like your front USB port for if you have your charging cable or wired controller or whatever. I guess so. My hope, my fantasy is that is intended for external hard drives. So if you want to add storage to your Xbox, you can just plug some shit in and go.
500 gigabytes though, man. That's a lot of stuff.
That's a good start.
But yeah, they're doing USB 3. I think that's probably fast enough to let you run games off of an external.
Yeah.
Just here's the question: is do they make that proprietary hard drives, or do they allow you to go buy something?
If they're using USB 3 as their connection standard here, it doesn't look like, other than the Connect port on the back, there is anything particularly proprietary connection-wise. I think that's tough to enforce when you are using open standards or
I hope
commonly accepted standards.
that was one of the more ridiculous things about the Xbox 360 era was their obnoxious reasons for the hard drive stuff costing so much, and they stood behind the proprietary nonsense when they were just bold-faced lying to you about how much that stuff cost.
My point is that it's tougher to enforce in that people can just work around it. With everything else being so common, with the USB interface being common, with stuff like how hard drives go being pretty common and open, that I think it would be much more of a challenge for them to, or they could just say no external hard drives. And if you want more space, although I mean, There were more, Vinny, I don't know if you could snoop around this Wired, not this page, but some of the other stuff. They looked like they had like these translucent like component pictures of the Xbox, Xbox internals.
Oh, that was
that first big article.
Yeah,
that was,
I think those were mock-ups though.
Well, there was the mock-up stuff, but like so that that one up there, that shot specifically of showing like that's where the hard drive sits. So I imagine that is on the side that we saw that has the USB port. I'm just wondering if that is a hard drive that is even like user accessible at all, based on
I don't know.
That's just manufacturing.
That's just manufacturing.
Technology is moving farther and farther away from allowing you to tinker.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about this as a tinker. I mean this as a like.
It's more like future-proofing.
Yeah, slide in a bigger drive.
Yeah, for increased storage needs over time. But I mean, the way they're emphasizing more and more cloud stuff, like you could see local storage being less and less crucial.
Those are two of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, those are the guys.
They're also emphasizing this, like, you know, installing for ownership.
Yeah.
It's cool they don't have to run the disk. I think that is.
As
much as we're going more and more digital, for the times that you do have a retail disk, that's cool that you can keep that on the shelf.
I hope to God that every account on a system can play the games that are redeemed on that system, though, because like, if you buy a game and bring it home and only your account can play it without paying that fee, that is some fucking garbage.
My gut feeling on that is that you get tiered fees.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, maybe you can buy a family.
Maybe. I mean, the way they handle it.
You would hope that you buy the game and you get a family, like, by spending $60, you get a family access to that game, which is like. But how do they figure that out, right?
Well, I mean,
you can transport an account.
They already have a solution in place, in effect, on the 360, which is that any account can play a game on the system it was bought on. Games are DRM'd to the system, and then if it's on another system, you have to be the owner account.
Is there anything with like having the owning account on that Xbox and that conferring any sort of like access rights to other accounts on that system, or is it just strictly like if you bought it on that Xbox with that account, it's always accessible? It doesn't have to be, you know, online checked.
I bet all that stuff. I feel like that's hopefully a lot of the detail will get fleshed out today. Because I bet a lot of those, like that architecture is being re-engineered for how that's sort of passed down. So hopefully that's a lot of stuff we learned about today. At
those are big deals, but that's also a lot of like fine detail.
Sure.
That I imagine. I would not be surprised if Microsoft is not ready to announce all of that stuff publicly.
There's also the question of, so people celebrated that EA dropped Online Pass, right? Well, they were just dropping Online Pass because we're getting something like this with the Xbox.
Right.
So the question
is
is
system level version of that.
Right. So the question is, does Sony try and continue their consumer confidence, hurrah, hurrah, we're for the consumers and indie developers, and say, use games are totally fine on our system? Or does this just allow them to let Microsoft take the brunt of the criticism and implement something on their system, which I know third parties all want? This is third parties have been championing behind the scenes for the hardware level Online Pass or an equivalent. So does Sony go against the grain, or do they just say, all right, great, Microsoft did it first, now we can do it and no one's going to care?
I mean, you know, like, kind of what, you know, Brad, what you're describing for their, or what we've seen described for like their DRM, you know, used game, new game. Look at that man.
I'll go back.
Like, you know, what you're describing is more or less Steam.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking that. Like all this stuff people
like
are
some
worried
of the stuff
about.
that's like, ooh, like that you chafe against a little bit as far as, you know, ownership rights and whatnot. Like, you start talking about this as like, here's a system where you're just, you know, you own this game, you're installing it from some remote server. That's, you know, and you have to have your account on there. Like, other than it being in the living room, which I don't know, like we all have computers in our living rooms now for playing games on. Like that leap isn't as big anymore. It kind of feels like, well, this is how on my best system, what I consider like the most user-friendly system.
And ironically, what's known
this
to
is
be
pretty much the same thing.
Ironically, what's known to be the most open system,
yeah,
actually has the most closed distribution platform. I mean, we are extreme edge cases, to be fair, but like my girlfriend likes Poker Night, but if I'm using my Steam account here, she can't be playing Poker Night on my account at home. You know, she would have to buy another copy of Poker Night to be able to play it while I'm here playing other games on Steam.
Yeah.
So like that reality is already here on like a much loved platform, but
so yeah, it's interesting that to consider that like what people would consider a negative here is kind of just the status quo, not that far away. So
they trust Valve. They don't trust.
That's true.
Valve gets away with what they get away with. I don't want to get away with makes it sound like a negative, but they
that
employ
was
their
hard
system.
fucking earned on Valve's behalf, because when Steam, it was a long time before people liked Steam. When Steam first launched,
Steam was hated
that
for the
Half-Life 2 day one.
The first year or two of Steam, probably a lot of Steam users too young to remember this.
Steam, I had Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Like that was
Steam was reviled for like a year after it came out. Or
so
after it got big.
they took their knocks. They put in the work to earn people's trust. So that's going to be on Microsoft and on Sony to earn people's trust there, to get that sweet CBS app on their iPad or iPhone, or LL Cool J.
It's huge this generation.
Hawaii 5-0.
Kids. He's
NCIS.
Not static.
The Price is Right.
Dynamic.
Star Trek.
Okay.
Smart Glass.
And Smart Glass.
Smart Glass?
And 5 trillion transistors.
All right, should we go prep to make other content?
Yeah. Let's. I think. Let's call this a live streaming day here. A lot to still process and soak in.
Yeah. Still a lot of questions.
Absolutely, and we're going to be talking about this more on tonight's podcast. Which we're going to go and record this afternoon.
We'll repeat all these questions.
That's right. We'll have all these same conversations over and over again, but in audio-only form.
Just the questions.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just ask them and go, I don't know.
Do we know if we're going to be able to Skype Jeff in after his interviews and stuff? Or
these are great questions.
That's
There's
a
another
fantastic question that we don't have the answer to.
We will see.
We might be able to Skype Jeff in. I just don't know what his schedule or availability is, but we'll try and make
he
that
might
happen.
have some more answers.
Yeah, because he's got interviews lined up, right?
Balderdash. Podcast will still be coming tonight. Your weekly bombcast, just a little bit later because we're having to push back production time for all of this live stream fun. I want to thank Ian for holding it down in the control room during all this stuff. Excellent job, Ian. Thank you for your assistance. I thank Jeff from Redmond for checking in with us and giving us the ground floor scoop. And thanks to you guys for holding it down here with me. Brad on chat with the laptop and the technical details, and of course to all of our awesome viewers at home who stuck through us talking over other people talking for hours on end. And on that note, we bring to a conclusion our coverage of the Xbox One reveal. Like I said, Giant Bombcast later tonight, so stay tuned. We'll see ya.